old, groaning like a geezer.
Whoa. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Graybeard'S Studio. Graybeard'S Studio? That would be something. Graybeard'S Studio. It is, what is it? It's March 8th already, 2023. This is episode 13, and we will be drawing from Pixar Library today. There's an interesting story about that we'll get to when I bring in my co-hosts. First of all, the guy who's responsible for Bass Reeves and other incredible art in the comic book world and in the animation world. Please welcome David Williams. There he is, or at least there's his drawing. Look at that. He's got his Wolverine pens out. That's his commission, which we will visit in just a moment. He's working on. It's getting crazy. Welcome, David. Okay. Thanks for joining. Also, we have our guest moderator who's becoming a permanent fixture, a permanent moderator. Everybody put your hands together for one of, if not the greatest inker of all time in comics, Gary Martin. There he is. He actually wrote a book, so he should know something about it.
G-Money.
All righty, guys. I know the big question is, has there been a Sasquatch sighting? Has anybody seen Kelsey? And the answer, of course, is no. We have not heard from or seen Kelsey now for 1 month. But we're hoping that we're getting to that point where he resurfaces soon and then becomes back to being a regular part of this show. But just because Kelsey's not here, it does not diminish the incredible quality that David and I will bring and the incredible wit that Gary Martin will bring. Even though he will not be drawing, he will be commenting, I'm sure, and telling us stories about goiters and all sorts of practical jokes and hijinks that have gone wrong. In fact, I think we are going to revisit his famous practical joke on me back in our Studiosaurus days.
I'm regretting telling
south.
the goiter story because you referred to it 2 weeks in a row.
Well, I'll probably refer to it every week in a row from now on because that was
right.
just anytime someone brings up a goiter, it's
nickname,
it's
Goiter
legendary.
Martin.
It's a goiter.
It's a goiter. All right, let's see who's in the chat here. We got Skull Nasher, Jasu is here, Dan the Pizza Man Genovese is here, Bretsky the Great. He says, salute to the incoming chat. Salute Aaron. Salute Brohawk. Salute Kelsey with a question mark. Salute Gary. Well, Gary we know is here. So there we go. Blackjack is here. Kevin Thomas. Graybeard's always makes the afternoon fun. Love the early Pixar years, especially A Bug's Life. No one ever seems to remember that one. Oh, I remember it. That doesn't mean I'm going to draw it, but I remember it. GJ Martinez is here. Bill Weist is here. Marcus Killigrew. Gary Martin, of course, is here. And Repairman Jack. Ahoy, David and Aaron. Forgot Gary, but that's okay. Gary will get over it. Geek Avenger wants to know, is Kelsey even still alive? Based on past history, we can assume he's going to show up again at some point.
He better have a mountain of work completed, but if he shows up. If he comes back with a tan and wearing a Hawaiian shirt, I'm going to be mad.
There's got to be hell to pay. Death Metal Hero is here. What up, Aaron and David? Of course, he's ignoring Gary. That's okay. Gary's used to it. Tarks9, all the way from Canada. Zaid Comics, asking the big question, will Kelsey appear? And that question has been answered, unfortunately, already. So Agent Zero is here. He'll be on our show, Sunday show, not this week, but next week, talking about Chrome Dog, a book I actually did a cover for. The Angry Gamer is here. Ignite is here. Nebotes. If I ever pronounce that right, he is here. He's saying sick. Nice, David. Hey, Gary Martin. He doesn't say hi to me, though. Wow. Let's see this. Kevin Thomas says, much like the Odin cycle, I'm a firm believer in the Kelsey cycle, wherein he must retreat to the swamp to rejuvenate his fortitude. I think there's truth in that. He shall return. We all have faith. Ruby Jade is here. Ruby Jade 90. Jeff Potts, K33 Enseen is here. He says, Goiter, don't even know her.
That's a personal request. I don't know her.
Ronan's. Salute Kells, Hail Lopez, Brohawk, and G Money. There we go. Gary's got his nickname now.
G Money.
Yeah, David has been calling me that for years.
Nabote says the goiter comes up because the punchline was, are we not discussing the goiter? Is anyone going to discuss the goiter? Let's see. Someone asked Mike Barron if Kelsey has continued to turn in pages for Nexus. I would assume that's what he's doing, is completely working on Nexus and ignoring everything else.
That reminds me to ask my brother about the goiter story to see if he remembers it and I can get his point of view. So hopefully I'll have that for next week.
Okay, so more goiter news. That's good. Nebote says, Aaron is the reason I'm here. The rest are a bonus. There we go. That's what I like to hear. Jeff Potts says, somewhere in America, someone is pouring plaster into footprints Kelsey left behind and analyzing her hair fragments to determine what creature they spotted walking in the woods. Oh, hey, look at that. Brian Norton. Hi, all. New to the channel, but definitely not new to CG. Thanks, Brian, for joining us. Hit the like and subscribe if you wouldn't mind. And that goes for everybody. If you haven't done that, let's help this channel grow. This is a fast growing. It would probably be more exciting if Kelsey was here every week. But we'll start bringing in some guest stars, I guess, if Kelsey's going to keep disappearing.
Yeah. See, Aaron, Jeff Potts is now calling me goiter guy, Martin.
You got
next week,
goiter guy.
I'm going to show up and there's going to be like a lump on my neck.
That's right. You should put like a grapefruit in there in your sweater and just. Well, hey, I'm Lopez. I'm Lopresti. I'm Old Man Winter. I go by many names as well. So it's,
that's true. That's true.
Depends on what mood anybody's in. Okay. Let's make some rounds here. First of all, let's take a look at what David's got on his board. David, tell us what you've got going there.
A commission that I'm working on that someone was requesting, suggesting, based off of a G.I. Joe cover I did for IDW back in the day, where I did 4 separate covers showing all the Joes over the years. And starts from a beginning to the current ones, and that broke down to like 4 covers. This is breaking down to be like 5 or 6 or something like that, because there's so many Bat family members. This person wanted, the Bat family or the Bat villains, and so with this one, I was starting over where Martha and Thomas Wayne, and Alfred, and the first Batgirl and Batwoman and some of the earlier Robins and all this kind of stuff. And,
there's
even
Batman
Future,
Beyond back there.
And Batman Beyond. So it's like the Days of Future Past type thing. So it's all of that. And I give myself the excuse because I put Batmite in there. So he's making this all happen. So I put in the Outsiders as well. So Metamorpho,
is that Black Lightning there? It is, isn't it?
Yeah, right there.
In the middle right there. Yeah. Okay.
Katana, Halo, Geoforce. Here's Huntress. I'm doing kind of certain types of grouping in this to tell somewhat of a story. So you have Gordon and Batgirl standing together, but Batman's cape is like dividing them. You know what I mean?
Ooh,
so there's some kind of storytelling. But here's the current Robin. The older Robins are all back over here, but the current Robin is right here. The Damian Wayne which I don't like, but he's a Robin nevertheless.
Right. Dude,
And,
is that Ragman back there?
Where? Right here?
Next to Catwoman. Yeah, is that Ragman?
No, that's like Azrael.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. It's just not fully detailed.
Okay.
And then I wanted to have the counter piece where at first I had Joker facing off with Batman, but I said, well, I wanted this to have somewhat of a storytelling type thing. So I put Ra's al Ghul there.
Yeah.
And I put Joker over here, kind of like the Batman TV show did with the opening animation where they were going from left to right and stuff, and Penguin was right over there. So I'm trying to have some of that feel towards it too. And I have Harley Quinn giving the bird to the bird, you know. You know, and I got Scarecrow, Riddler, Talia, Hugo Strange, Bane, Killer Croc, and you know, it's going to be a myriad of other villains. So I got to spread out the good with the bad of, you know, of favorites and stuff. So I'm not putting all the favorites on one page. You got to spread it out, you know, and mix it up a bit. So
Batman has the best villains gallery, man.
Oh, by far. You know, even though they stole them from Dick Tracy and just plussed them. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, well, that's true. My favorite piece on there is Batmite.
Oh, you like that?
I do. I love just the angle and the expression, the goofy teeth. That's like my favorite on there.
Myriad of characters. Check out the big brain on David.
I know, he's just dropping big words.
I don't think I've used that word in my entire life.
Nintendo Ginger says, David, you are amazing. Venna reviews, this already looks epic. GJ Martinez, this is so epic to see the side view of the Joker and the Penguin. So good. Paul Taylor says that is cool. Paul Taylor, of course, is our resident biologist, so he would know. I don't know why, but you know, he's got to be. If you're a biologist, you got to be smart.
You got to know about cool.
Phil Diaz picked out Metamorpho in there, right next to Black Lightning, I assume. Right? Isn't that Metamorpho right there? Yeah. Now, since I brought up Ragman, is he a Bat character? Would he be a Batman family character?
Yes, actually. He'll be in there.
So are you gonna put him in there?
Yeah, it's like a background character.
Okay. All right.
My feelings are hurt. Nobody's mentioning the Joker.
Oh, that's right. Gary posed for the Joker.
Yeah.
Oh, Paul Taylor's going question mark. Are you questioning that I called you a resident biologist? No. Are you questioning that? What did I say? I don't even remember what I said. But
you're questioning if he understands what cool is.
Oh, I see. Just ignore everything I say, Paul, because I don't even remember 30 seconds after I've said it. So, look at that. Vic says, I like the Penguin. He's the most handsomest character on here. I wonder if Vic kind of looks like the Penguin. Maybe that's what he's leaning in towards there. Dan's Den of Pop Culture says, I think I see Batman in there. He's right in the front. He's right in the front. Yeah. Looking mean. Now, I think it was a good choice to have him face off with Ra's al Ghul. That makes a lot of sense, I think. James Murphy says that, damn, that is so busy yet very readable for each character. Nice. Yeah, well, David put a little thought into it instead of just like throwing them in there.
Yeah, David, talk about...
he's the thinking man's artist.
That since you're going to color this, you had to consider the colors when you're pairing up.
Because most of these characters are blacks and grays and all this kind of stuff, but I had to throw certain Robins in there just to break up color, you know, so your eye would, you know, go to certain characters more and stuff like that. And I think the way I'm going to color it, the way you'll see it, is going to transition from, you know, cooler colors to warm, you know what I mean? So you'll, because I'm trying to make it like a light is, even though we don't see the light, is right in the center of them. And that's why everyone is being lit from the front, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so it's like this really high contrast piece, but you have to place these characters, especially the villains, because so many of them are like purple and green. You know what I mean? So you have to have other characters to break up that monotony, you know, there and stuff. So it was rough. I was just like, oh, should I put this character here or should I put Scarecrow here? No, this doesn't work. And so you have to think in color, you know, while you're drawing.
Yeah, James Murphy says, I didn't even consider the coloring aspect. David, you're all about the biggest picture, not just the big picture, but the biggest.
Aaron, do me a favor and read Jeff's comment.
Jeff Potts?
Yeah.
A multitudinous assemblage of protagonists and their nemesis. Jeff is showing us how smart he is.
That's right.
He's smarter than David because he's using more big words. No, that's awesome. And speaking of awesome,
wait, I got one more piece to show.
Oh, okay.
I showed some of it before, but here's the final.
Right. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
So I had this Fantastic Four piece that a long overdue commission, and I'm doing all my long overdue commissions this way, where I'm just painting them. Like putting the markers aside, and I'm just trying to level up on these people. So there's the final.
This is all watercolor?
Yeah. Did I zoom in on that?
Yeah.
That was crazy. I didn't even mean
to. I wasn't even trying to.
The camera did it.
You were just thinking it.
Yeah. Is this connected to my brain somehow?
Technology, man.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, pull in on Sue's face. It's awesome.
Well, they're going to say pull on her enormous bust line.
Of course you would say that, Aaron.
Well, I mean, when it's that big, how am I not supposed to notice it?
I don't know if I can.
Saying.
Yeah, look how cute she is.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'll tell a story about.
Yeah, do it.
How she became cute because she wasn't. There was a huge disaster happening because I'm new to watercolor and just painting in general. It's always a new experience, but working on this board on watercolor paper, it's kind of pebbled, you know, and so I'm going in thinking that, oh, this will be nice. I could just put in these soft colors. And it started pebbling on her skin, so it started making it look like she had fish scales on her face. And I started freaking out. I was all right with it happening on the thing because of rock, but it was happening to her face. That needed to be the softest thing on here, you know? And so I went to go clean it up, you know, and try to soften it and clean my brush, but I'm cleaning my brush in dirty water, and I went back on it. It made it worse. And I was just like, ah! And I was almost virtually finished with everything else. I was, you know, when you leave the good things for last.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to go back in with all these whites and real soft colors and stuff. Hours and hours and hours just to soften it up and just to put a layer, just to knock out all that brown, gray, green crap that was on there. I was a lizard person before. And then I started plucking in highlights and all this other kind of stuff. And I was like, oh man, this is coming out kind of, you know, JC Leyendecker-ish. I think I meant to do that. Yeah, that's the ticket.
Yeah, exactly. No, it turned out great. I mean, it's funny how many times you're doing a painting, especially, and it just goes south on you. And you're like, this is a disaster. I can never save this. And you keep at it, and eventually you do save it, and it turns out pretty good, you know? So it just, you got to get through that point where you're like, I want to throw this away, you know, because you can save it if you just, you patiently work it. It'll get there.
I'm not sure what Vic means that he making a comment in the chat. Is this a painting done by Alex Ross' grandkid? Are you Alex Ross's love grandchild?
Vic, I'm Black Alex Ross.
Vic. You know, you have to read between the lines on Vic's humor. He sometimes you have to put some pieces together to see where he's going.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
But Aaron was
Bill
making
Weiss says, so how did that explain the size of Sue's chest?
Well, I explained it the last time we were on here is that Sue Storm is a slut. And she likes showing off. And so she's trying to, tantalize Namor and whatever other suitors other than Reed.
That's that's what Kevin Thomas says, that she's been smooching with Namor.
Yeah.
Audrey Amay. Hi, Audrey. It's heartening to know that even the pros get challenged when doing work, and your experience helps you deal with the issue without freaking out. We freak out, but we push through it and figure out there's got to be a way to solve the issue, and we generally find a way. But
yeah, no, there's definitely freak out.
Awesome art that was like, this ain't gonna work.
Well, David, how many pieces have you ripped up and thrown away in frustration in your career?
I've destroyed forests, in Brazil. I mean, whole forests.
You recycled, and that's important. You know what else is important is David has a campaign that we like to call Bass Reeves West of Hell. I'm going to share that real quick. There it is. He's at $29,710. That book is finished. David is done with the artwork. It is at Allegiance. I'm assuming the coloring is probably done by now, or darn close to being done by now. So it's got to be looking to go to the printers here pretty quick. So you won't have to wait long. You've got a hardcover and a paperback option. Yeah,
campaign is surprisingly underfunded.
Yes, it is. It's a great book and some great artwork in it. You've got David's wraparound cover on the paperback, and then you got Andrew Robinson's painted cover on the hardcover. There's tremendous collection of 6 issues of Bass Reeves, and I think how many were published as floppies? 4 or 3?
3.
So you've got basically 3 issues in here that have not been printed yet. This will be their first printing. So you get the first 3 issues, and then the last 3 issues, will be brand new material to everybody. So you guys want to check that out. The link is in the description of this video. So there you go.
Now, the thing about this book, it's 136 pages of dedication, letting people know that I'm dedicated to finishing the work.
That's right. And if there's other rumors out there saying otherwise, they are patently false. So
I have to interject.
Yes.
I had the opportunity to read the script for the last final issue, and then I saw how David converted it to artwork, and it's take it from me, it is a masterclass in storytelling.
That's right. David is exercising all the tools that I taught him, and I'm glad to see that. I like to see growth in my students. So you guys check this out, because it's a great. I don't know how much Allegiance overprints, so I don't know how many are going to be available once this thing once they shut it down. So you want to jump in on this while you can.
And if you already got it, do me a favor, share it as much as possible on your social media. Buy some for your family. Do whatever. Just get the message out there, and let's get these numbers up.
Yes, sir. All righty. I'm going to take a moment to show something, and then we're going to let Gary show you something. This is my latest Rosetta Booty drawing.
Woo! Is that Frank Cho?
Got my little lizard in there. I did this the other night, and I thought I was gonna ink it.
It looks like Cho, doesn't it?
Yeah.
No, it's better than Frank's, actually.
Ooh, them fighting words.
No, I love Frank's stuff, but no. So I after I finished, I was like, you know what? I got that Bisley painting. Finally showed up last week, which I did a video for, and I was looking at that, going, you know what? I got to do more painting, and so I drew this, and I was like, I'm going to paint this. And so David has convinced me to put this on a bigger sheet of paper and paint it and make a print out of it. And I think I'm going to do that. So I may add some background elements and some stuff to kind of juice it up just a little bit. But yeah, I'm going to paint this, and we shall see what we shall see.
Put a pterodactyl in the background.
Yeah, there you go. Flying at yeah. So anyway, and I'm currently inking page 34. It's almost done of Wraith of God, which I can't show you, spoilers, but it's moving right along. So
34. So you're past halfway, aren't you?
Yeah, it's a 50. Well, I rewrote the script on one scene that wasn't working for me. And it's kind of funny. Carl Kiesel saw me post this, and he posted back and he said, "Isn't it great to be able to take your own, create your own projects and change them whatever you want to for the better, and not have to deal with editorial interference?" And it is, because I was reading the scene and I was just like, it was one that had to do with the transition of time, and it was like I just wasn't buying it, what I had written. I was going, this doesn't work. This seems forced, So I rewrote it, and then it ended up, as I was rewriting it, I had a big splash page coming up, and the splash page ended up on the odd page, which means that you'd open up a double page spread like this, and it would be here. The splash page would, right? So you'd have panel pages here in the splash page. But you don't want to reveal a splash page like that, because you see it before you get to it, right? Mm-hmm. And so I thought, okay, well, there was a page that had like 8 or 9 panels on it. So I split that into 2 pages and then turned the splash page into a double page spread, so that when you open the book, you'll get this kind of, on this page, something's going on, open it up, you'll get the double page spread. So I actually ended up adding 2 pages to it. But yeah, it's a 52 page story. No, 53 pages now. And I'm on page 34. So yeah, I'm over halfway on that. I've got 5 pages of Garbage Man done. I've got 3 pages of The Nightclub done. I've got 8 pages of Kit Carter done. So I'm well over halfway through the entire project, and looking at it probably being done end of July, 1st of August, and going to the printer then. So
wow, you're moving
there
along.
You go. Gary, so you have finished your restoration of that John Beatty, Michael Golden page, right?
Yes.
And you're going to share it with us now, whether you want to or not.
Share it.
Now, what is this? Zaid says something wrong with IGG. Can't back Bass Reeves right now for some reason. Apparently that happens, like just random rejection of your credit card, and you just have to go back in and keep trying it. Eventually it'll work. I don't know what the deal is there, but I've heard this happen pretty regularly. I haven't experienced it yet on my campaign, but I know Ethan has on his, and some other people have, where it just doesn't go through for whatever reason. It's a bug in the system.
They did it to Bass because he's black, and so am I.
There you go. Well, now you see, you got some leverage now. You can bring this up and go, hey. Aviate Surge is here. He says, hey, Aaron, Gary, David, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Leg Kick is here, because Leg Kick, of course, is almost always here. So we're at 84 viewers right now. I'm sure it'll grow as the afternoon goes. But if you're new here, just dropped in, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe, please. We need the numbers to grow. So appreciate it if you do that. Okay, let's take a look at what Gary's got here. Okay.
Woo.
So I'm assuming, Gary, on the left is what it looked like when you got it.
Yes, that's what the owner of the page sent me.
And now you've got the doggone thing finished. Look at that. Wow.
So basically, all I was doing is inking over the brown faded ink, and trying to cover it up without altering the line too much.
Now, did I ask you this last week? But did this guy contact Beatty at all to do this, and he just didn't want to do it?
I don't know. I asked him that, and he was vague.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if. I would assume if it was me, I would have asked.
What if it was actually John Beatty in disguise having you go over his...
Yeah, he just didn't want to do it. So he's like, I'll get Gary to do it. He'll do it.
Yeah. I was telling Gary that he could have easily been one of Michael's inkers and stuff, and I was mad at him. I was like, "How come you don't ink me like this?"
Then he said, "Why don't you pencil like this?" Right?
That's right.
But the client was extremely happy, and his number one concern is that the brown ink would keep fading into oblivion.
Dude, it looks, you can't tell,
Nope.
I mean, it looks exactly right on the money. I mean, it's just great work. Beatty shows up in the chat every once in a while, so who knows? He may drop it in comment someday.
He would
and
love
that's from
to have
the NAM, right?
He won't have any problems with it.
That's the NAM 9, page 18, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Gary, you also are open for commissions right now, right? Do you have something behind you want to show as
sure,
like what your commission stuff looks like?
Well,
I'll put you full screen. You can just hold that up, and I'll put you full screen.
Beatty, this is a recreation I did of the famous Zek Beatty, Captain America, Wolverine.
Damn.
Ever.
Yeah, that's right on the money.
Big.
Yeah.
It's like 16 by 20.
Damn.
Well, Zach won't do those anymore. He got so sick of people asking him to recreate that, he won't do them anymore.
But you see it's blurry.
Man, the hair on his arms is awesome.
That Beatty feathering, he's a master at. That was very hard to mimic.
Dang.
I
want to do something just so you'll do that on me. I want to put as many feathering lines in there as possible. That is awesome.
Oh yeah, I used to drive Gary crazy with sludge because we had all kinds of line work in there.
There was tons of this kind of stuff with there,
and long ones too, long feather lines.
Yeah. And then this is what I've been working on the last couple of days. Another.
Oh my goodness,
Lord, that is
just have awesome. The hair blacks and
dude,
the cross hatching down here to finish.
All the grays on her nose and lips, that's all cross hatching, right?
Cross hatching, yeah.
That is so
God,
perfect.
Insane. Beautiful, man.
Yeah, her nose just pops off the paper, doesn't it? That's
it's great.
I was not expecting that.
Nabote says, "Get out with that."
So it's 80% finished. I should have it done today.
I know all of that stuff in the background is supposed to be black and under her chin and all, but it almost seems like a Art Deco art piece, and like just keep it, just keep it just like that.
Yeah.
Well, you know how when you're inking with a brush, you're trying to get a point, and you roll the brush on the paper, and that's what all these squiggly lines are. But that's all going to be black. Right. And when I do cross hatching, I always put a guide for my angles to try to be consistent.
Mm-hmm. Oh, really?
Yeah. So if I want like a diagonal, I try to make one layer of diagonals all the same angle.
Yeah. Oh, I never knew to do that.
Yeah.
That's
so
cool.
Because I mean, for me, they can get all cattywampus, and then it interferes with the layering of the gray tone.
Is there going to be any more live art in the hair? Or
yeah. So it's just penciled now. I haven't done much at all.
Okay.
Gary, will you discuss quickly how you save your brushes again? The technique you use for when your brushes start splitting on you. What you discovered to do with them to save them?
Okay.
So I spit on them.
Magic saliva. I just take an old brush that, how brushes start to split after a while. Here's an old one, and you can see it's nasty. And I just I always put tape on the barrel to kind of save my finger.
All right.
And then to save it, I'll put more tape up overlapping on the hair.
Oh, okay.
Just a little bit, like a 16th, 1/8 of an inch. So the metal part of the barrel is here, and then the tape goes up on the brush part, and I try to make that as tight as possible.
And that pulls the
wrap around. Yeah, it just pulls the hairs together.
Wow. Okay.
And creates saves the brush and makes a point. These are brushes that I've saved over the years, so I have a pretty good supply of brushes.
You're like the Humane Society for brushes.
Well, I'm just real cheapskate. I don't like throwing.
Well,
I mean, this brush,
good brushes.
20 years ago, those brushes cost like $20, $25. So I just couldn't bring myself to throwing them away. And then I don't know how I came up with that idea. I think I was just frustrated and see if it would work.
And lo and behold, it did.
I treat my brushes like I treat my brushes like Copic markers. As soon as they start messing up on me, I throw them straight away. So now I know. Thanks for that tip, G Money.
But yeah, I mean, it works, 4 out of 5 times. So it's definitely worth doing, especially with red sable. It's not cheap.
Right. Audrey says you should rename this show Graybeard's Masterclass. Great content. Thank you, Audrey. We try to provide you guys with content you can't get anywhere else. That's why this is the best draw stream on the internet. And Death Metal Hero says, I find myself inking with a brush quite often. Never seen that technique before. Might have to try it with my Raphael number 3. Here you go. And here we go. Nebote says, pro tip for the cross hatching. Those guides are brilliant. I'm taking that for sure. So they're stealing from you already, Gary.
Well, it's not stealing if I tell them.
Yeah.
No.
He said, do it.
Yeah, Vic.
Such important artists. Thank you, Vic. Appreciate that.
Yeah, he also says he's going to use hair gel on his brush. So I don't know if that.
Yeah, let us know how that works out.
Good luck with that. Yeah, get back to us on that one.
Yeah, on the hair gel. I want to know how that works out. All right. Okay, so we're going to do it. We're doing Pixar because that's what you guys demanded. David, did you want to show that stuff that you sent me? Or
can you show it?
Yeah. So what are you going to do, though? Tell us what characters you're going to do.
Someone from The Incredibles.
Okay. Now,
or
David has a
maybe
story
all
with
of them.
this. David has a story with this. So I got a few drawings. So basically, once again, reinforcing the notion that David's a cheater. Here we go. He apparently already has stuff drawn. What is this, David?
These were some layouts for some covers that got rejected by Boom Studios that I was going to do. They asked me to do some samples or what would I do for covers, and they rejected them. And also I had a pitch that I had for them for a story for The Incredibles where they end up meeting or needing to meet their younger selves to help them, right? And something happens to where something in their past affects their future, so they go get their past selves to help them and stuff, but it opens up a portal to other versions of themselves, and you almost see like a true Fantastic Four version because they have different color suits and you see them in the blue suits, like the Fantastic Four and all that kind of stuff, and they're older and the kids are older and stuff, and they're just super cool and all this kind of stuff, and it was going to be a fun little romp.
Gary, can you imagine being an editor and rejecting these as a story concept for The Incredibles?
And or covers.
Or covers?
Well, they must have, had a finite number of covers or stories that they wanted to have spoken for. And then the rest of them, they're just like, nah, we don't need these.
Yeah, but it's like, why would you have them submit stuff then if you already knew that?
Exactly.
Well, editors,
Well,
they're a different breed.
Boy.
So when you say, why would an editor do that? That means that you're thinking that they would think the way you do.
That's true. And they never do.
No, they never do.
Those are fantastic.
Yeah.
Evil One says.
Oh, there was one more you didn't show.
Did I miss one?
Yeah.
All right. I'll get it. Give me a second. If these are prelims and David is cheating, Evil One, if you want that hat by the 18th, dude, let me know. I sent you an email. I hope you got it. Okay. Citizen Ronan says, I'll edit this. Darn it. I wanted to see a bunch of old men draw princesses. That was actually sort of what I thought was going to happen, but that is not what happened at all. Disney princesses got the boot. They finished third. In fact, Sailor Moon, we were so close to getting Sailor Moon, and I would have died if I had to draw Sailor Moon. I've only got those three. What am I missing? Are you sure I showed?
Was there a group shot of them?
Yeah, we showed that one while you were, I don't know, eating a sandwich or something. Yeah, I showed.
I must have looked away.
Yeah.
No. The group was it the group shot where you see the old heroes in the back?
Like he's just trying to get more screen time. No. I'll show it, you big baby. Jeez.
I don't know. I didn't know if you did or not. I must have looked away.
Back me up on this. I showed this.
You showed it. Yes.
There it is. That's a very cool one. I like that.
Okay. I didn't know.
Dude, you should someone should I was like, I'm giving you too much money, man. But I was like, man, that'd be great for you to
finish it. That's what we're all thinking. Damn it, finish it.
This one, I love this one. That would be great.
Yeah. I might just paint it since I'm in a painting mood.
Cost even more money. Okay. Right. All right. So we're rolling here. All right. So no Sailor Moon. But so David's going to be doing The Incredibles. I am going to do, and everybody was giving me suggestions, do Buzz Lightyear. And I was thinking about Buzz Lightyear, but I kind of want to do that red-haired chick from Brave. What's her name? Merida. Just because I like the red hair.
Good choice.
So that's, I think, the direction I'm going.
Ginger's Rule.
What's that?
Ginger's Rule.
Ginger's Rule. They do. Although they're getting.
I'm an ex-Ginger, so I can say that.
Well, they're remaking Brave, and they're making her a black girl. So they're getting rid of the gingers again.
Of course they are.
Yeah. Oh, I wasn't paying it. Sorry about that, Evil One. I didn't see it. I'll check that. I sent money through PayPal yesterday for the hat. Okay, I'll make sure it's going out tomorrow. Promise. Thank you for the $2. See, once again, I tricked Evil One into giving me more money than he wanted to, just so he could get his message across. So it's my master plan. I should be a super villain. Although $2 isn't going to help me conquer the world, but it's a start. It's a start. All righty. I got to switch my camera here so we can get going. All right. So we're starting a little late, so I may shave a little time off so we get out of here at a reasonable amount of time, but we can officially begin.
Dan Lawless is in hanging out, and he's asking if I'm a minion.
If you're
You're yellow a sweater. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Gary's on Twitter. Did you give Gary your contact information while we were talking about your commissions?
No.
Do give your contact information for these people.
I just opened a Twitter account. I have, since the buyout, it's G Martin Inc. at G Martin Inc. Easy to remember.
What's your Instagram?
I don't remember.
Well, type your Twitter address in the chat so people know how to get a hold of you and they can make sure the spelling is correct.
Martin Inc. Art is my Instagram.
All right. Doggone it, my pencil is. Oh. I've got in such a habit of drawing my layouts in blue pencil that I can't even function if I don't have a blue pencil to do my layouts in. What do you guys think of my studio setup back there?
It looks very cool.
It's like a month's worth of work on here to finally get that. But yeah, I got like curio cases for my toys now, which is cool. So hopefully that'll eliminate some of the dusting problems. See, Shelly went in here and rearranged everything, and I haven't really gone through it, so it takes me a minute to kind of figure out where everything is. All right. I'm going to... Phil Diaz for $5. Thank you, Phil. Says backer 500 on the Bass Reeves hardcover. I got you, D-Whams. Also, everyone should back Lost Pages 3. We were trying to make some cool comics. Thanks. We had Phil on week before last with his Lost Pages 3. He's got a nice, really nice Bisley cover that's an option. So Phil, make sure you drop your link in the chat for people to find that. So I recommend going checking out his book on Indiegogo. It is unfortunately shadow banned as well, but if you have the direct link, you can get right to it. I'm sharpening my blue pencil. Wait a minute, this is what Shelley's bringing order to the chaos, just like the Big Bang. Exactly. Evil one, if one of you drew a Disney princess with giant boobs, you will win. This isn't a competition. It's just a friendly get together of studio mates pushing each other to do great art. But of course, if you want to say that mine's the best, that's totally fine. Let's see. Dan says, I have a bathroom that I painted yellow, and the kids made it into a Minion bathroom. There you go, Gary.
Just with their uncontrolled urinating, is that what you're saying?
I don't know. I don't know if he went to go that gross. Evil one says now he's going to get me because I squeezed that $2 out of him. All right, Gary, it's time. Tell us the. Well, I don't know. Should I tell it or should you tell it? The Captain America story from.
No, you can't tell it, Aaron.
No, I think you should tell the part up to when we talked on the phone. No, let me tell the first part about when I called, and then you take it from there.
Okay.
And then hand it back to me when you talk to me on the phone.
All righty.
So this takes place during our Studiosaurus days. When was that, Aaron?
That was, we formed Studiosaurus in 1995 because you and I actually were working on Sludge, or we had just finished working on Sludge. Maybe we might have been working on Tachyon. I can't even remember. And I was over at your house and we were talking about, wouldn't it be great if we got some guys together in the Portland area to form a studio, kind of like Guy Jing was doing in Atlanta. And so then you and I went around and started looking for places that we could rent to do this, and do the math, how many people we would need to get in the studio and to make it worthwhile. So we ended up with a huge studio that had you, me.
Yeah, we found this great space.
The Oregon Cracker Building right across from the train station there.
Yeah, that's the actual name of the building.
Yeah,
the Oregon Cracker Building.
They only let white people in.
Yeah, full of white artists.
Yep, exactly.
So that's why I couldn't be a part of the studio. Now I
right.
see all these years later.
Yep, now the truth comes out. So yeah, it was Carl Kiesel, Ron Randall, Terry Dodson, Rachel Dodson, Matt Haley, Tom Simmons, did I say Randy Emberlin, Gary, of course, and myself, and Matthew Clark joined a little bit later. Am I missing anybody?
Probably.
There was a lot of people in there. And but anyway, so it was actually pretty fun because it was always a full house, and some work got done, but a lot of fooling around got done too. Which then, of course, am I starting or are you starting? I can't remember on this story. I'm starting, right? No, you.
Oh, okay, let me set it up.
Okay.
Was it like Wednesday or Thursday, going out to lunch day?
Yes. Yes.
it was like Wednesday or Thursday, everybody in the studio went out to lunch together to like a local restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
And I probably worked at the studio the least amount. I preferred to work at home. So I maybe came in 1 or 2 days a week. So I'm at home. It was lunch day, Wednesday or Thursday. And so I knew everyone was out to lunch. So I called at that time, knowing I'd get the answering machine. And I left a message saying, this is, I forgot, who was the editor that I said it?
Was it Stevenson?
No. It was an image editor. I can't remember who it was.
Yeah.
So I claimed to be an image editor. And this was at the time when Image was looking for artists because they had the license for some Marvel characters.
Yeah, they got like Captain America and the FF and all that kind of stuff.
Right. And so I said, I'm, so-and-so editor at Image. We want Aaron.
Jim Valentino?
No.
Oh, it wasn't.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
We want Aaron Lopresti to draw Captain America for Image. My thinking was you guys would come back from lunch. The first thing you do is listen to the answering machine. And you'd hear my voice and you'd say, ha, ha, very funny. You call me back and tell me what a jerk I am.
Mm-hmm.
That's as far as this prank went in my mind. So I was expecting a call back, a Gary, you jerk, call back. 1 o'clock rolls around, 2 o'clock rolls around, and I didn't get a call. So I thought, oh, I'm starting to get curious. So I call the studio and Rachel answers the phone and I hear commotion in the background. And I say, what's going on? And Rachel says, well, Aaron is going to be drawing Captain America for Image. Okay, take it from there, Aaron.
All right, so we get back from lunch, and I can't remember who it was. It might have been Haley or somebody said, hey, Aaron, you got a call from...
Rachel listened to the message and didn't recognize my voice. So it was Rachel.
So it was Rachel's fault? Okay. So anyway, so they basically, hey, man, someone from Liefeld Studio called, and they want you to do Captain America. And I'm just like, freaking out, right? And which is really ridiculous because I should have put 2 and 2 together and said, what in the world would they be calling me for to do Captain America, right? Because I had just come off Sludge. I wasn't a big name or anything like that. It made no sense, but just the desire in my heart to want it to be true, I guess. And so I never listened to the message.
No one did, other than Rachel was the only one that actually heard the message.
And so she's telling me, oh my gosh. And I said, you guys are full of it or whatever. And they're like, no, such call. You better call him back. So I get on the phone and call him back, right? And the receptionist answers. And I'm like, whoever the editor was that Gary, pretended to be, I said, yeah, so-and-so called me. Can I, I'm just returning his call. And she goes, well, he's not here today. And I went, well, no, wait a minute. How can he not be there? I said, he called me and asked me to, call back about, I said, this Captain America project, I'm supposed to call him back. And she's like, well, he's not here. And I said, well, that doesn't make any sense. So I started getting mad at her, which I really feel bad for, I was like, well, isn't he, I go, well, then give me his home number. She goes, well, I can't give you his home number. I go, look, this is really important. Okay. I need to talk to him. And she was like, well, there's nothing I can do for you because he's not here and I'm not giving you his home number. And I was just freaking livid. Right. And so I got through talking to her and hung up and I was like, I don't know what's going on. He's not there. So I don't know. I guess I'll have to call him tomorrow or whatever. And, but I was like, left a message for him, and all this stuff about, tell him I want to do the Captain America thing, appreciate it and all that kind of stuff. So then,
yeah, that's the best part. Yes, I want to do Captain America. That's the message.
This is the message I left this editor, right? And
actually, that's pretty brilliant. That's pretty brilliant, just to call an editor out of the blue and say, "Yes, I want to draw Batman. Call me back."
You're like, "Yeah, thank you," right? Get in line, pal. And so I.
So then when I called to check up, because no one called me, tell me what was going on, I could hear you in the background celebrating.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and,
and a lot of people talking and that kind of thing. And then so I said, to Rachel, please put Aaron on. It's like, oh boy, this is going to be hard for him to hear. And this was the tough part, is that when you came on, you picked up the phone, all you said to me was, "Gary, I got the call." And talk about, my heart sinking. And all I said back to you was, "Aaron, no, you didn't." So when I explained to you what happened, I could feel your hand reaching into the phone and grabbing my throat.
Well, if I had not called Image at that point, I would have still been ticked, but I would have, but it was the fact that I just went in and browbeat this poor receptionist over the phone, and so I was, and so what happened was I hung up the phone. I don't remember what my parting words to you were, but they weren't very nice.
No, you were cursing like a salty sailor. I mean,
no, wait, I don't know that that's true, but I don't think
all this no cursing on my channel. I was surprised.
No, I don't think maybe I was. I might have been, but I can't remember. But
maybe it's coming back to you. No, I mean you were rightfully angry. I mean, that was it. It was a prank that took on a life of its own, and I admit it went too far.
But here's the thing that was so funny, and everybody always recounts this part of the story, that other people in the studio, because it got deathly silence in there, because everybody at that point had got around to know that it was a joke, and you were telling me that it was a joke, and they all knew that I'd already called Image, right? And so when I hung up the phone, I put my head down on my drawing table, and I just started groaning, and everybody remembers hearing the groaning, because I was like, oh, because I was so humiliated. And
I've not heard this part. I've not heard the groaning part.
No, it was just this low rumbling groan. I couldn't even utter anything. I couldn't face my studio mates because I was so embarrassed, and then I was so livid at you for doing this, and I was just sitting there going, oh.
So I ended up calling the editor and
you didn't
explain your phone call, and he was cool. He just said, "Yeah, okay," he wasn't.
After he finished falling out of his seat, he's like, "Oh, this is cool."
after he laughed his head,
and then they hired Gary.
They hired Gary.
I did get work from them after that. Now that I think about it, I did get work from them after that.
Well.
And for those of you who have my inking book, if you look at the front, I apologize to Aaron. It's in the front part of the inking book. I think in the acknowledgements section, I apologize to Aaron.
That's right. Well, you were working on that book at that time.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh boy, that was a rough day. But much like the kid in the wheelchair,
I would have paid a lot of money if someone had taken a picture of you with your head hanging, groaning, and.
Well, that's the thing. You would have had to have an audio recording too to go with the picture. Because I remember audibly groaning, just like. I remember Rachel told me later. She goes, "We heard you groaning." She goes, "I felt so bad for you, but we were all afraid to go into your studio space."
They stayed away from you for the rest of the day.
That was it, man. And I guess Rachel bears some responsibility because she's the one who got fooled and then told me. Gary, you spun this web of deception that destroyed lives.
Yeah, I didn't have the imagination to foresee how far this would go. I had no idea. When I called, like around, I don't know, 2:00 or whenever it was, and heard, celebrating in the background, I knew I was in trouble.
I can laugh about it now, though.
Yeah, now you were mad at me for a long time.
Oh my gosh! Of course I was.
Yes, and rightly so. Right.
It just got it got out of hand so quickly. It's hilarious now, though. It's like I was watching a clip of something. It was maybe the Tonight Show or something, where George Clooney was on there, and who's a notorious practical joker by his own admittance. And he said that he would get, like, I can't remember if it was Jimmy Kimmel that got him it was part of the problem or was in on it, but someone would get him like Brad Pitt's stationery, right? His official stationery. And then he would send out letters as Brad Pitt. And he said he got all these dialect CDs together, and he put them in a big box, and he sent them to Meryl Streep from Brad Pitt and said, this helped me with my Southern accent or something on whatever movie. And he said, you should try these. It'll help you out a lot with your accents. And of course, she's the master of accents, right? And so he said that he goes, like, she said that later after she found out the joke, she said she avoided Brad Pitt for like 4 months after that, because she was so pissed at him. It was Clooney the whole time.
Aaron, I have one question for you.
Yes.
Do you have official Aaron Lopresti logo paper that I can get my hands
on? No. I do not. It's thankfully, because now I don't even think people send out mail anymore, do they?
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
So, oh my goodness, yeah, it was. But you have, to your credit, you have two of the greatest practical jokes that went south of anybody I've ever, known in my life. that poor kid in the wheelchair with the Steranko drawing, and then of course me.
Oh,
most of my pranks.
My goodness.
Go further than I was expecting.
And yet you keep on doing it.
Yeah, well, that's the
right.
That's the pot.
I can't help it.
Rainbow. That's the gold that you don't expect to be there.
That's the pot of gold. It's when it really goes south and someone really gets crushed.
Yeah,
that's a great thing. Oh my gosh. No, it's funny how you can look back on that stuff and find it humorous, but in the moment, boy.
Oh yeah.
It is not funny.
Well, I felt bad too when you said, that you got the call. Oh, my heart. I have to man up and tell you that I'm responsible. That was tough.
Oh, I love it.
And it's funny because getting the call is like the thing everybody always talks about, like getting that one job that's going to change your career.
Because that's how you get work. The phone rings and some editor says, "Hey, I have a job for you."
Right.
It's.
But it's still not as good as, or well, I should say, it's not as devastating as my X-Men story, which I've told many times, but it's worth repeating just in case there's any new people in the audience, that I'd been out of work for, I don't know, 3+ months because of getting sort of blacklisted because of Tachyon's massive failure. And I had finally worked my way back to the X-Men office at Marvel. And Pete Franco and Mark Powers were the editors. And they got me to do, first of all, I did a X-Men job that was an exclusive Wizard comic book, right? And Danny Mickey inked it, Jeff Johns wrote it. It was really cool. And I did a really tremendous job on it. And of course, Danny Mickey did a tremendous job inking it. So it really, really looked good. And so that led then to them giving me like a fill-in spot for 3 or 4 issues on X-Men. And after I did that, I had Mark Morales inking. And Mark, of course, is a really good inker as well. And so that all looked really good. And so they call me up, right? And this is not a Gary Martin prank. This is reality. He calls me up. Pete Franco does. And he says, we just love what you've been doing. He goes, we want to make you the next big X-Men artist. I mean, that is a quote, right? And then I started the celebration again, right? I'm telling Shelley, hey, I got the call. I'm surprised I didn't call you. And then like just a few days later, they both got fired. And I was out of work again.
That's because they wanted to make you the next big X-Men.
No. Here's the irony of all of this. I found this out. I was at a show in Phoenix sitting next to Ethan Van Sciver, right? And Ethan is telling the story about how he got Pete Franco and Mark Powers fired.
Wow.
And I went nuts. I said, you cost me my career, you son of a...
Wow.
But apparently they had screwed him over legitimately on something. And so he was writing F-bombs in the comic and they didn't catch it. And that was like the straw that broke the camel's back or something, you know. And,
I have to mention something Audrey is saying in the chat that I hadn't thought of. She says that it would be awesome. I'm paraphrasing that after all that, they still would have fired you. But then right after that, she follows up, Aaron is still working on the perfect payback. I haven't thought of that yes, revenge is best served cold. I would be, skipping down the street completely unaware, and then it would hit me like a sledgehammer.
And you'll go, what was that for? I go, oh, remember 30 years ago, Gary?
Yeah. How many years ago? 20 years ago? Whatever.
It was more than that because it was 95 or 90. It was 96. 95 or 96. So that's 25 years ago.
Talk about patience. Waiting, biding your time.
That's like waiting for the perfect opportunity to get my revenge. No, see, Gary, I could never do that because I'm not that cold-hearted like you are. Oh man. No, I laugh about it now. It was a good one. It was a good one. But that's the thing that keeps me from doing practical jokes is I remember that. And I go, no, I don't want to do that to anybody. See, I am making Gary feel guilty already again.
So even if you would have known that I called and you knew it was a joke, by you saying, Gary, I got the call, that would have been payback because of how bad I felt when you said that.
Well, here's the thing, though, to be honest with you, if I had heard the message and said, oh my gosh, that's Gary, we would have plotted something.
Yes, you would
like that to get even.
Yeah, you would have. And you would have had, I hadn't thought of that either. You would have, the whole studio would have been in on it.
Yeah. So we would have got some revenge, but unfortunately I never listened because I think I'm trying to think about why I wouldn't have listened to the message, but I think somebody accidentally erased it after they listened
that could have been
almost certain that's what happened.
Yeah, I'm pretty positive that Rachel is the one that initially heard the message when you guys got back from lunch. So she may have.
What if Rachel knew it was you and she wanted the practical joke to play out?
Oh my gosh, yeah. What if she was in on the whole thing? And
wow, I can see Terry doing that, but not Rachel.
Yeah.
See, but everybody makes that assumption. The nice, quiet ones don't do stuff like that. Oh, yes, they do.
Yeah, he was the mastermind behind the whole thing. In fact, she's the one that gave me the idea. Now that I think of it,
now the truth comes
out. Matter of fact,
Rachel.
So get her.
She did it. It was her. Oh, that's what are you gonna do? You know,
Deanna is asking, is there compounding interest on revenge? That's true. It's fermenting.
That's right. It's like, the longer I let it go, the worse it gets, right? And eventually it's just going to be like this just horrific thing, like, John Wick or something, just be blasting you with multiple machine guns or something. I don't know. Now, we actually, for the most part, had a pretty good time in the studio until it actually, we were doing fine until we moved over to Richard Finn's place.
The other place, yeah.
And it wasn't finished. So we were crammed in this tiny little room waiting for that to get finished so we could move into it. And that's when things started blowing up.
Yeah, people weren't coming to the studio. When I would go down there, there's nobody there.
What, you went down there and there was nobody there?
Well, they're just, a couple of people there, not like the Cracker Building days.
We used to throw these big parties at before Richard's shows, and that way we could have the guests come in, and then we had we had this big wall plaque that artboard that we'd have people draw on, right? So we could say, "Hey, look who was in the studio," right? And you remember that guy, the pottery guy or whatever, that was next across the hall from us?
Then it was always yelling at us for using the elevator.
Right, because the elevator always broke down,
right.
And then he couldn't get his pottery downstairs.
Yeah.
So it was like somehow he felt that elevator was his exclusive.
Yeah. It was a freight elevator, and it was constantly breaking down.
And so we had this big party, and we were on the third floor, right?
Yes.
And that was it was unbelievable, the stair walk to get up there. And so people were, of course, using the elevator, and it broke down. And this guy comes in.
Yeah, he comes into our party
and
starts yelling at Carl.
Carl. He cornered Carl Kiesel, and he was just berating Carl. And we're like, what is going on over there? And then you went in there and tried to logically, as you would, try and calm the situation by making him feel like an idiot, which didn't go over well because he just got madder and madder. And finally, we were just like, dude, get out of here. All right. And we finally kicked him out. But oh my gosh, that was so funny because Carl was just like, pinned up against the wall. And this guy was tall,
Yeah,
but
Carl was, he didn't know what was going on. He had he wasn't responsible for people using the elevator. Yeah, poor Carl.
Yeah. So we had some good times back in the day.
I don't know that much about the TV show Cheers. I never watched it. Audrey is asking. It's like those rival bar practical joke episodes on Cheers. That rival bar owner was named Gary too.
Maybe onto something here.
Yeah.
And Evil One wants to know, Aaron, what are you drawing?
I'm drawing Merida, the red-haired girl from Brave, just because I want to color her hair red, which is not the best reason for drawing something, but then on the second thought, maybe it is. Because I would have done The Incredibles, but of course I always let David pick first because he's at a talent disadvantage. So I like to give him, the opportunity to get first pick on what he wants to draw. Apparently he didn't hear me.
Yeah, David, you're going to let that, David.
The disadvantage is that I'm working with a slow person. So I have to draw down, to make it a fair contest.
You have to draw down. You're drawing down to my level. I appreciate that. Make me. Yeah. I don't even know anymore. I used to. I mean, I liked most of the Pixar movies because they were, the quality was there, obviously, in the story and in the artwork or the animation. But they've started not being as good, and I never had I always liked the movies because I thought they were well done, but I never had anything that really resonated with me other than The Incredibles because of the the superhero theme.
I went back and watched, because my grandson, trying to get him to watch all the Pixar things, and went back and saw Toy, like the first one again. I was like, oh, I can't watch it. It was like, beyond the story's fine, but just visually, I was just like, but
like
when
what?
we were just like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, how great it was and everything.
Yeah, but when you see it now, woo.
Yeah, we see it now.
We got spoiled now.
Well, that's that is interesting. That the animation is so far beyond what it was when they first started that, and we were just blown away when we first saw it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Monsters Inc. was okay. I think the thing that bugged me mostly about the Pixar stuff was that all the designs, the character designs, were really geared, and I mean it had to be, but I get that, but they were really geared towards little kids, right? So
Yep.
Monsters Inc. they didn't have any really cool looking monsters; they just had goofy looking monsters, and although the main character, the fuzzy guy that John Goodman played, was pretty good. But
that was all about selling toys, so you didn't want to have it be too ornate and all that kind of stuff.
Right. And the designs on Toy Story, of course, were perfect because that's what it was. They were toys. So, but like Bug's Life, I liked the story and everything. I thought it was a good movie, but I didn't think the designs were, didn't blow me away on the character designs. And I liked Ratatouille a lot. I thought that was good. And then, of course,
I like that. I like that one too.
I didn't see that.
And I thought The Incredibles was great. Of course, Brad Bird, And
did you see the second one? Did you like the second one?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay.
Did you not?
Oh, I loved it. I thought it was
okay. But I was never. Cars is the one that bugged me. I thought the first one was okay. It was good enough,
Mm-hmm.
But
Evil One is saying that he used to work at a video store and Cars was extremely popular.
Well, they made 3 of them, right? And it's like, I don't even think I watched anything beyond the first one because I didn't love the first one.
That was probably one of the last ones they made for boys.
Yeah, and I was telling you the other day that Soul I thought was terrible. The Good Dinosaur, I hadn't seen it, but everybody said it was bad. And the two boy mermaids, I was like, yeah, no thanks. And that one. And I thought Up was good.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. But again, there's nothing in Up that makes you, you know.
You don't want to buy licensed Up products.
Right.
Yeah.
And, you know, what was the one where they were inside that girl's head? I thought that was okay, but, you know.
Dan says in the 60s, selling toys involved Vincent Price shrunken headsets and Aurora models of famous movie monsters. I don't remember Vincent Price shrunken headsets.
I had it. It was incredible. You get these little plastic carving tools and like beads and like you know, that fuzzy material they used for hair, you know, on like Cupid dolls and stuff. And so what you would do is you take a light, you had this little plastic, well, let's see, it was kind of oval shaped, right? And it was open on the top and the bottom. And it had a thing in the middle, a divider in the middle that was covered with like kind of this foil type material. And you'd stick this over like a 60-watt light bulb, and you'd take an apple and you'd skin the apple. And then there was like, it told you to soak it in like saltwater solution.
Okay, I remember that.
For a couple hours or overnight.
That's right. Yeah.
And then you would carve a face in it, right? And then you'd stick it in there and hang it in this little plastic thing on this little hook, and it would cook over 2 or 3 days, and it would turn into this shrunken head because the features you cut into it would
really
like
cool. Yeah,
it looked really good. And then you take the beads and put teeth in there and put the eyes in and stuff, and then you could paint it, and then you put this glaze over it that like preserved it, and it was great.
There's a bunch of chats that I'm missing. Sorry if I'm not getting everyone. Let's see.
You're the moderator, Gary.
Yeah, I know, but there's a lot of interesting comments. Let me just go down the list.
Okay.
Statistical Zero saying Pixar used to have more mature storytelling than most of the live action before The Message. Evil One, Monsters Inc. Is good, and Toy Story, but other than that, I feel too old to watch the stuff from Pixar. Yeah, I would agree that their stuff is, you know, the classic Disney stuff is stuff adults could watch over and over again.
Well, you know what's interesting about that point that Evil One brought up is that even though they're kids' stories, we used to watch it because we were so amazed by the animation, right? And so you'd watch it just for the animation.
Yeah.
And like Brave, I never liked Brave. I thought it was lame, but the animation was just incredible, right? So I would watch that movie, and I shouldn't say it was lame, but I was a little disappointed with it. But it was just incredible to look at. But then we all sort of get desensitized to it, right? And it's not that cool anymore because we've seen it a million times. So yeah, I have no desire, you know, to go see movies designed for little kids or propaganda films or whatever they're producing.
Yeah. The Day Later says it's what hurt Pixar, causing Lasseter to leave.
Well, that might have something to do with it too. I mean, he was sort of the. I mean,
I thought it was Me Too.
Yeah, Me Too, mate.
Art of Roy's criticizing Aaron. He's saying Lopez, no dogs. Her mother turned into a grizzly bear.
That's not a dog. That's a That's a bear.
It's a bear. Okay.
All right. Although her snout's a little long, so
there you go.
He buckled.
Well, I just looked at the picture again. I was like, I mean, I'm not drawn exactly like the thing, but the
Statistical Zeros following up says Cars is where Disney started to pressure Pixar for more sequels to sell little diecast cars to collectors.
Well, I mean, here's the crazy thing, that Disneyland put that whole Cars ride in there and made Cars World, Cars Land, or whatever, and it's like, that's like the worst movie to do that for. I mean, it makes sense from a ride standpoint, But of all the movies they could have like really made something out of, that's like the least one they should have, and yet that's the one they did. So that motivated the.
Dan's Den is saying it's strange that Finding Nemo made more money than any of the other Pixar films. Audrey is saying, is anyone liked Graybeard'S Iron Giant? Of course.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's one of the best animated films ever made, I think.
David, did you work on that?
On the consumer products? And
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we have an actual Iron Giant artist in the house.
That was a rough thing to draw. I was tasked with doing most of the Hogarth. I think I did a couple of Iron Giants, but that to Jerome at that time, and which was strange because they used a computer to draw out Iron Giant for the film and stuff, but Jerome knew how to do it by hand and get it all right, and they sent
of course he did.
And they sent some of that stuff to that animation team. They're like, wait, who did this? Like, this is amazing. And they all loved it. They were just like, oh my goodness, he did this by hand. Yeah. And so he knew all the nuts and bolts of that character. And like any consumer products packaging that you have as far as Iron Giant toys, it's probably me and Jerome.
Sweet.
David, you may know this. I always wondered, was Hogarth, that name, a shout out to Burn Hogarth?
I don't think so, but could be.
That's an unusual name, and when I heard it, I was like, oh. Yeah.
I don't think so, but I think he was just being different, for the sake of being different. But I like Brad Bird. I wanted him to direct Superman. For real.
Yeah.
He would have been awesome.
Amazing. Yeah.
And when he did that Tomorrowland, it's almost like he's telling Iron Giant again without Iron Giant in it, because the girl was basically like Hogarth and all this other kind of stuff. That kind of young person adventurer who's thrust into this situation, who has this unbounding energy, and he's just like, wow, this was fun. A lot of people didn't like it, but I really like that film. That's as close as we'll get to a live action version of Iron Giant, which I don't think we ever should get a live action version of.
No.
Warner Brothers fumbled the ball on that movie. There should have been sequels. There should have been sequels from that a long time ago.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, they did so poorly at the box office because they just ignored it and didn't market it.
They just thought it was just some cartoon, let it go, blah, blah, blah. They don't think like Disney, and that's why they fail. But Disney doesn't think like Disney anymore, so that's why they fail.
Everybody's failing because they don't think like Walt did.
Mega City Patrol was asking if anyone's seen the Puss in Boots Last Wish.
Got good reviews, but I haven't seen it.
Recommend. No, I've not even heard of it. You guys heard? No.
Yeah, I seen it. It's like they have that animation that they're doing. It's almost kind of like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. It looks good. I have it. I want to see it. I just haven't looked at it yet.
Statistical Zero saying Brave was a safe movie. It could have been called By the Numbers.
Damn.
An evil one is saying that the Vincent Price Apple sculpture shrunken head is worth over $200 now. Aaron, do you still have yours?
I thought I did, but I can't find it. So apparently I don't. I did for the longest time. I mean, I had it when I was an adult. I don't know. It might have got damaged in one of the moves because we moved to Florida, then back to here. And it's possible that it got wrecked because I don't have it anymore unless it's tucked away in one of my kids' closets that I haven't checked for a while.
Dan Lawless is saying Soul was interesting, that he liked it.
Oh,
that's the one where he's saying it's no good.
He's got bad taste then. Sorry, Dan. I just didn't like how they handled the afterlife, and I didn't like how they handled. You have a movie like that where someone dies and then they come back and they're supposed to have learned a lesson, and the dude didn't learn anything, and he didn't really sacrifice anything to get to where he was at. It was just kind of I don't know. And the way they presented the afterlife, I thought was, I don't know. I didn't like it. So
I'm not going to read Art of Roy's comment on your piece, Aaron. You'll just erase again.
No, Art of Roy is always on my case. So
let's see. Geek Avengers heading to the gym. He's saying goodbye to everybody. See ya.
See you, Geek. Thanks for joining us.
I call you Avenger.
I know this is about Pixar, but have you guys watched any of the How to Train Your Dragon?
Yeah, those are good. Well,
yeah, those are real good.
The ones I've seen are good. I haven't seen them all.
I like them all so far. They're good. DreamWorks.
Yeah.
Not bad.
No one's been able to hit the level that Pixar has with animation quality, but some of the like Shrek and things like that were good movies. They just didn't look as good as the Pixar ones. So.
Repairman Jack is asking David, hey, David, can I have that first drawing of Mr. Incredible that you gave up on? Pretty please.
Can you have?
Yeah, Repairman, I've asked David for free art for a long time, and I'm still waiting, so he better not give it to you. Luffy is God. Why would he be Old Man Winter? Surely Cold Man Winter is better.
As soon as winter goes away, I'll be the youth of the spring. The youth of spring. But we keep getting. It just snowed here today.
Yes,
today.
It did snow here today, and it's freaking March, right?
Yeah, it's like cold, man.
Audrey is saying that David, you're cool, or your art is cool. I'm not sure.
Yeah, she's not referring to him. She's referring to his art.
Well, to quote, "Cool David." So it's open to interpretation.
Okay.
Let's see. It's statistical zero. Some of the best stuff Pixar had going was the shorts back when they started. That was the place to innovate and try different stuff without sinking tons of money into it. Good point. Oh, Art of Roy was not crazy about Iron Giant.
See, Art of Roy, that totally invalidates all your other comments now.
It's like, get out.
I can't pronounce this. Foul life. I'm sorry. I can't pronounce that. He's saying hello to everybody. Hail all.
Hello.
Help me out, Aaron. Feign low life.
What? What are you? Are you making stuff up, Barry? Do you have your glasses on? What are you saying?
FALNLOLIFE. Please pronounce that.
Feign low life. Yeah, feign low life.
Oh, feign. Okay, feign.
Yeah,
feign low life. Boy, you got me there, feign. Vic, I wonder how much help CG animators have from computers, and if it's more difficult than what you do. Of course it is.
I don't like this bear now. This bear is bothering me now. I had no problem.
Yeah, now you keep looking at the nose. Statistical is saying Iron Giant felt more like a Bluth movie. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I'm not going to read Art of Roy about Tomorrowland. Audrey is saying,
hey, I know people didn't like it.
I'm sorry, David?
I said, I know people didn't like it, but it's one of those that either you love it or you hate it.
We talking about Iron Giant?
No, Tomorrowland.
Oh, Tomorrowland. Yeah, I didn't really like it. I mean, I didn't dislike it, but it was like, whatever.
Audrey is saying that Incredible Boy was based on how Brad Bird looked.
Wait, what was?
What? I'm not
That's
sure.
what she's saying. Incredible Boy was based on Brad Bird.
Oh, Incredible Boy.
Oh, okay.
Evil One. Still can't believe Pixar started out as a computer company. George Lucas started in '79 before evolved into what it is now.
Isn't it funny how all these companies, they start out small and they're doing great work, and then they get bought up by, they always end up selling, and I don't blame them. I mean, how can you turn down that kind of money? But then it just, it's never what it was. The corporation takes over and it becomes less than I like this bear even less now.
I'm skipping through. People are talking about different animation that they like. I'll never get to the bottom if we go through that. Dan Lawless is saying goodbye to everybody.
Goodbye, Dan.
He'll check out the results later. Does he mean the competition results?
There is no competition. It's just friendly.
Okay, Statistical is asking me to call him Stat.
Stat Zero. That's right. Save yourself some oxygen.
I like that name. Okay, Dale A. First time I watched Iron Giant, it felt lonely and somber. I appreciated it more on the second watch years later. Fall in low life. He's phonetically spelling it out for me. Fall in low life. It's not foul in low life. It's fall in low life.
Okay.
Oh, so that's not an I. It's an L. Okay.
Yeah, you need to put another L in your. Okay. Nice Marmot. My son loved Iron Giant. When he was small, he watched it 500 times easy.
It has one of the greatest endings in a movie's ever had. I mean, you have this bittersweet ending, but then that hope at the end, it's just...
Yeah. Vin Diesel is getting some shout outs in Iron Giant from Citizen Roman. Let's see. Okay, Mega City Patrol is asking if those pink erasers are horrible. Yeah, I was kind of surprised, Aaron, that you're using a pink eraser.
No, you guys you need to understand something. If you get these at like Dick Blick's, these are incredible.
Okay, the Dick Blick pink erasers you're recommending?
Yeah, because if you get the kind you get at a store, like a Ticonderoga pencil, they're horrible. They're like coated and they just smear. These are excellent erasers. And the thing is, they have that built-in tip, so you can get like a small area without wiping out your whole drawing. And that's why I use them. They're not as effective on some bigger pieces of art. You want to use a bigger eraser. But if you're doing panel art on a page, these are incredible because you can just go in with that tip and erase an eye or something without wiping out the rest of the face.
I'm going to make a note of that.
So,
because I'm always like cutting my erasers up with X-Acto knives to get a tip.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah, dude, get those pink ones, put them on your pencil, and you are good. But not, like I said, don't go to Kmart or someplace to get not those.
Animation debate is continuing. Luffy is saying Iron Giant has nothing on Akira, Howl's Moving Castle, and who can forget Fist of the North Star series, Exploding Heads.
Well, I've never watched any of those.
Apples and oranges, Luffy.
That's what I was just about to say. Apples and oranges.
Dale A hates E.T.
Like,
or maybe not. He's saying that it's Spielberg's worst film.
E.T.?
Yeah.
E.T. does not age well.
No, it doesn't.
When you watch it the first time when it came out, it was great. But the more you watch it, the more irritating those kids become. And dude, that's why I won't watch Goonies. When I went and watched Goonies, I watched it one time, and I felt like I was babysitting a bunch of brats for 2 hours. And I'm like, I paid to do this?
Yeah.
I
didn't like Goonies either. I have to read Dan's Den of Pop Culture. He says, I remember some kids once defaced a Dick Blick sign here in Vegas. You can guess which letter they blocked out.
Well, here's a funny story about Shelley. This was like when we first got internet and stuff, so that would have been back in the early 90s or whatever. And so I discovered Blix, right? But you wouldn't go to Blix. You had to type in Dick Blix, right?
Uh-oh.
So she's on there and she's
checking your browser history. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, she saw my browser history. She thought I was going to a porn site. And I said, it's an art supply store. She goes, what is this?
Yeah, I bet she thought that tue. Sure it is.
So I took her there.
Are you looking at some gay porn, nigga? She was going to bust you. She was about to send you to church.
Oh my gosh, it was so funny because I was just like, are you kidding me? But this is a funnier thing. There was this we used to get movie posters and movie memorabilia stuff from this place in Vegas called Rick's Hollywood. I think it was called. And like they had those old popcorn machines that, on the rollers and things like that, and movie posters and all sorts of cool stuff. And so we'd go there actually quite frequently, but she tried to go there once by herself without me, because I'd always, typed in the address. So instead of typing in like Rick's Hollywood, or it was like Rick's Movies, it was something like that. She just typed in Rick's, and it came up Rick's Girls. It was like this stripper site or something. And oh my gosh, that was
Aaron, do us all a favor and read Citizen Ronan's comment. Last one, second to last one.
Citizen Ronan says, Aaron recommends the pink tip at Dick Blick. Oh, my goodness. I'm telling you, you guys say what you want, but those erasers work, baby. They work. Oh, yeah, nothing gets by these guys, man. It's like, doesn't matter what you intended to say. It'll get twisted.
Vic says he just looked it up and no such store exists.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Dick Blix or Rick's Girls? We're talking like 25 years ago, man. Now Blix, you just type it. They changed it. You don't go to Dick Blix anymore. You go to Blix.
Yeah.
Somebody finally figured out that they didn't like the sound of it, so they changed it.
That's true. It was, yeah. I always questioned the stockholder meeting that came up with that name.
Yeah, I was too. Even if it's the guy's name, just call it Blix. You don't need the dick part in there. You're not helping. Ugh. All right. What do we got here? Okay, so we're an hour in.
Inking already.
Huh?
David's inking, Aaron.
So am I.
Well, I'm just giving you, you better ink faster.
All right. I got a lot of curls to ink here, And plus, I redrew that bear's nose about 20 times, and that didn't help out. Now check this out. I got all my oh, you guys can't see it. I've got everything on rollers now. So it's like all my drawers that have my art supplies in them are on rollers. So I can just roll them around easily, in and out of the way, no problem.
Dan's Den is saying that he thinks there was a Rick's Palace in Vegas, looked like a Casablanca theme, was a swingers club.
Well,
we're getting lots of comments. I'm getting behind here. What were you going to say?
No, it was Rick's movies or something like that, and but I'm sure there's plenty of Rick's other things, you know.
Oh, Anthony Gonzalez Clark, he thinks that David is swiping the pose that he used in his fan art for Truth, Justice, American Way. So David, he's accusing you of stealing his pose.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm doing.
The truth comes out. Oh, well.
You got me.
I had somebody on Instagram when I first came out with Wraith of God. They and granted, the design for Wraith of God is not groundbreaking, right? You know, it's just a black costume, and the guy was like, "Yeah, this was an awful lot like this thing I came up with in high school," and I was like, "Are you kidding me? Where do you think I saw it? You think I was your substitute teacher or something?" Oh, and I said, I created this. I go back. I said, look, dude, I created this in 1996, I believe it was. We were still in Studio Saurus. And he goes, yeah, well, I was in high school in 95. You're kidding me, man.
Art of Roy is recommending the Pentel Click Eraser. Statistic.
I got those.
Stat Zero is saying that the Chad is a real winner in this non-competition.
Yep, there you go.
Evil One is shouting out to Lurk more about his pink waving.
Telling you, pink erasers. I buy like 10 every time I go in there. And I just got a bag full of them because I use them so much. They really work well.
Neophytes wants to be. I want to get owned by David someday too.
What?
What?
No, he's directing that at me.
I want to get owned by DW someday too.
Oh, I get it now.
He's suggesting that somehow your drawing is better than mine.
Stat is saying Aaron is constantly ripping off the power cubed artist. For shame.
I know. That's me, by the way. So.
And Evil One is asking if anyone ever uses an electric eraser. No, I'm sorry. Citizen Roman is asking.
I used to.
Yeah, I had one until I erased through the paper, and then I stopped using.
That's the only reason I use one is to erase ink. I've got one of those ink erasers, and that's kind of a fallacy because it doesn't erase the ink; it just tears the paper off.
Right, it's like sandpaper, just
right. And but if you use it really, really lightly, you can get away with it. I had this. You want to talk about a horror story? I had just done a cover to the first issue of Red Sonja Tarzan for Dynamite. And Dynamite doesn't pay well, but the thing is, they always had covers that I knew I could sell the original art to. So I would okay, I'll do it for, 2/3 of what I would do a cover rate for DC or whatever.
Yeah, and then recoup
when I sold it. So I got this cover that has this huge picture of Red Sonja on it, Tarzan on this tree behind her, and I spilled ink on it right across her midsection. And I was furious because I had already inked it. I mean, it was almost completely done, and I was not going to redraw it. So what I did was I took an electric eraser and lightly skimmed over the top of where the ink spill was, right? And then you get those indentations in the paper, but then so I went back over and sort of cross-hatched the paper with the eraser until I softened it out, evenly. And it was still damaged, but at least it was like even. And so then I took white out, or Pro White, and went in and kind of filled in the cavernous areas, and then took the eraser and softened over the top of those to create kind of a texture to it that the paper might have. And then I re-inked over the top of that, and you can't even tell unless you turn the paper in the light and it reflects where the whiteout is. It'll reflect differently. And so I sold the piece, but I told the guy that bought it, I told him what the situation was. And so I knocked off like $500 or something off the cover.
500?
What?
I thought you were going to say 500.
No. Well, I was selling it for like $2,000 or something. And so sold it to him for 15.
You do realize this is production art, right?
Yeah, but if it was like in the woods or something, I wouldn't have cared, but it was right across her midriff, and that's why the guy is buying the comic or buying the artist for the Red Sonja. So
yeah, but he's still getting what was printed, and you fixed it. You're crazy.
Part of boys reminding Aaron, don't forget the Queen Bear's crown.
Well, the picture I'm looking at, she doesn't have the crown yet, so this is pre-crown.
And he's saying eraser shield, Aaron.
Saying what?
Eraser shield.
Eraser shield, Aaron. Eraser shield, Aaron. Do we need a comma in there to have that make sense? I'm not sure.
I don't understand that either.
Such strange goings on in the chat.
I used to, when I would have mistakes, it depends on how big it was, I would try to X-Acto knife, just file it off.
Yeah.
It gets the paper real thin and then ink over it. But I've gotten to where I'll just cake up that white out, just like how Jorge Savino would do, and make it a piece of the art and say, yeah, you had to do that,
Yeah, you start throwing a little splatter around and stuff, and then pretty soon it's all over the place, and you're kind of like, yeah, okay, it's here too.
Aaron, you're getting piled on here.
Uh-oh.
Son of Liberty Radios. Someone tell Aaron his Scooby-Doo looks off, and that Scooby isn't a Pixar character. And Anthony Gonzalez-Clark is saying, Aaron, you're mixing Jungle Book and Brave.
Hey, it's my interpretation, all right?
Ronan is saying Aaron gave the guy money.
Yeah.
Here, take this money and the cover.
Oh.
You know who that bear looks like? I'll say it looks like a bear, but it looks like Baloo from Jungle Book.
It's my my interpretation, man. I can make it look whatever I want to. Maybe it is Baloo.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe that would improve the movie. Yeah. What do you think of that?
Scooby-Doo, I want to be like you.
It could have been worse. It could have been Sailor Moon.
Sailor Moon could have been awesome.
I don't know. See, I don't know if I would have done an anime face, and everybody would have been on my case about that. So,
yeah, someone is claiming that you're drawing Baloo. Dan, I'll say.
Well, these are the same people that won't eat pineapple on pizza. So it's like, why should I listen to them? you guys like pineapple on pizza?
Well,
I do. I'm from California, so yes.
If it comes with, ham, sure.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what I started doing.
Pizza with pineapple, no.
You guys know, you've heard of Mod Pizza, right? Or no?
Is that a national chain?
I thought it was, but you basically go in there and you tell them what to put on your pizza. It's like a they got
like
this
Papa John's.
Well, I don't know. I've never been to Papa John's. I've been to Papa Murphy's. I don't know if they're related or not, but no, they have like this big row of like ingredients, right? Like if you're at Chipotle or someplace like that, right? But it's all pizza stuff, right? So you order the pizza, they put the crust.
You tell them what you want on it.
Yeah, and
it's like Kramer's idea, except you don't get to throw the pizza dough up in the air.
That's right, exactly. And so, I go in there and I was just like experimenting, and I get pepperoni, sausage, Italian sausage, pepperoni, bacon, and ham on there, or Canadian bacon, whatever they want to call it. And then I have them put blue cheese over it. Okay, so I have the regular mozzarella cheese on there, but then I have them put blue cheese on, or crumbled blue cheese over the top of that. And then I put on pineapple, mushroom, and olives. And it is a symphony of sweet and savory. That's all I'm
going to
saying.
take your word for it.
Oh, dude, it's...
Yeah.
Anthony Gonzalez Clark, I loved that part where Ariel used her bow and arrow to find Nemo, but found out he was eaten by Brother Bear.
Oh, my gosh. You guys, you just don't understand my vision.
Fastmaster saying that nice homage to Ethan's noodle air.
No one noodles hair like Ethan does. Judas Priest, man, he puts every curl in there. It's crazy. My Brave, she looks a little old, like she's maybe in her 20s. So you might say this whole thing is a disaster. Maybe that's what.
Someone sounds like they're surrendering already.
No, well, when I get the red paint on her hair, that's going to change everything. I think.
You think you got time for that?
I don't know.
That's true. Yeah.
I'm getting so depressed right now. I don't know if I have time for anything.
Yeah, it's 3:00. Stat is saying watching Gary as Aaron described his pizza was like watching him watch someone erase with a pink eraser.
See, it's like
although I'm gonna order some of those erasers. I'm gonna try them. I'm not happy with my erasing products.
There's a lot of eraser options out there, and a lot of them stink.
Yeah, the erasers that I have trouble with is when it picks up the pencil, and then
smudges it,
smears it, and it makes it worse. Yeah.
A lot of those white erasers, you got to be careful that, you almost have to like pre-erase on a blank piece of paper to get all that smudge off of it so it'll actually erase and not smear.
Right.
The pink ones, though, I'm telling you.
Okay.
You can't do large areas with them, obviously, because they're small.
Right.
But, boy, they are I found them to be very effective.
Well, that's another reason why I don't ink on pencil. I light box everything, so I don't have to do hardly any erasing.
No, I get that now. That's not a uncommon, I mean, Neil Adams used to, I remember I started doing that for a while. I would do my 8.5 by 11 layouts, but do them fairly detailed. And then I would blow them up, on a Xerox machine and light table them. But I found out my pencils were getting too tight, and it was kind of like, it was almost like pre-inking, it's like the pencils were so tight. It's like, why do I need to ink this?
Mm-hmm.
And it was taking so much time that I wasn't saving time. See, Adams did that to save time. And it was taking me longer. So I quit doing it, but I used to do that for a while. But I do that when I paint. I will do a prelim drawing, or a lot of times on my covers, I'll do the same thing where I'll start doing 11 by 17 drawing, and then, you'll erase and change stuff, and the paper gets so beat up, you can't really use it. So then I'll just go ahead and scan that pencil drawing, print it out on 20-pound copy paper, 11 by 17 copy paper, and then light table it onto a new board. And, almost everything's there at that point. So you don't really have to do that much more drawing. Just tighten stuff up and then go in and ink it. And that happens to me. I mean, I don't necessarily plan to do that all the time because it is a little bit more time consuming, but whenever I'm doing splash pages or double page spreads, especially, and covers, you want them to be really, really good. And so you change stuff, and then you keep erasing and changing, and then pretty soon you've got a totally demolished piece of paper. So
Luffy's claiming that you're drawing Baloo and a trans Mowgli.
Oh man.
All right. I see what's happening here. No, I can take it. I can take it.
Whew.
Richie Doop. DOOP. Hail Aaron. David. Gary. Hail Comicsgate. Hail the chat.
Yo.
Hail bananas to all. So that covers everybody.
Oh, as I told David, I said, well, I'm going to get away from this animation stuff, which is really his wheelhouse. Get into stuff that's a little bit more challenging for David.
Do you reconsider my Heroes of the Old Testament suggestion?
No, I am. I just talked to
No,
David
that's
about
one of
that.
them that's coming up.
But the folks got to vote for it, So I'll put it in there as an option. And we got to put Lord of the Rings and some other stuff like that in there because we haven't got to that yet either. And David wants to do character combos. Like, what were you suggesting?
Like mashups, like just say like if it was Hanna-Barbera characters mixed with Transformers or something weird. You know what I mean? Just like what would be our interpretation thereof. So whatever mashups that we could come up with, something cool and unique.
You shouldn't have mentioned Transformers. I don't think either one of you want to draw.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. He won't put that in there.
Yeah,
we both wouldn't finish on time,
Well, there's nothing I hate more than drawing. Well, I hate drawing Iron Man, just because not the old Gene Colan Iron Man, but like the Audi Gravinoff Iron Man, where it's got all the dials and joints and what a pain in the butt. I mean, all he ever had to do was the cover, which is bad enough, but man, drawing those things on the inside of a comic, every panel. Ugh.
Well, he even admitted that. He was just saying, okay, it looks good as one-off drawings. And then when he had to do the interiors, but then when it went to movie stuff, they said, okay, make this work logically. It was like,
Yeah.
One-off pieces could work and they could fool people so far, You have to put it into practicality and turn it and move it and tell a story with it. You're just like, uh-oh.
Yeah, I never liked mechanical characters for that reason, because they were always or people with really elaborate costumes, characters with really elaborate costumes, because you just start changing angles and it's just like, you don't even know where to start sometimes. You're like, well, wait a minute, does this go over here? Or how does this work again? And so it used to drive me nuts about a lot of those image type characters that had the big shoulder pads, you know, or spiked shoulder pads. How are they supposed to lift their arms up without impaling their, you know, their head?
What was that Marvel character? I think Rudy Nebres did.
Jack of Hearts.
Hearts, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
insane.
Yeah, like every panel. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Rudy liked doing that, and George Perez liked that kind of stuff. But,
Gary was reading my mind. I was about to mention that. It was so funny.
I couldn't remember the name of the character.
well, it gives you, when you become a, you know, a comic book artist, you start to appreciate all those really simple Gil Kane designs from the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
It's just figure drawing with a few, some painted on symbols, and you're done, man. You want to know why those image comic artists were all late all the time? Because they had to draw those pouches and all that crap on those costumes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You know why all these modern comic book artists are late? It's because everything is so realistic now. You got to draw. If you got to draw New York, you got to draw real New York, not fictional New York like what Kirby had to do.
That's all I do is fictional New York, man. I don't pull out reference. It slows me down. Occasionally I do. I mean, if you're drawing a tank or something, you know, that kind of stuff. But
Stat is suggesting that the Graybeard'S need to do an image episode.
For sure. Heck yeah. I'd do that.
That'd be kind of fun, wouldn't it?
Yep.
We can draw the characters with raising their head, hands above their head, and impaling their cells right through the temple. Those big old spikes.
I mean, believe it or not, I love drawing Rob's characters. We had our fun with those, didn't we, Gary?
Yeah, you did some of that stuff, didn't you? You did Supreme or something?
Yeah, and we did a bunch of trading cards, too.
Trading cards were fun because it was, you know, small image, usually cropped, and it paid well.
Yeah, I was going to say it was easy and it paid well. We used to love those, man, to get those jobs. Because that's mostly what I did for Image. You know, they would call up like Wildstorm or whatever and go, hey, you want to do like 6 trading cards? You're like, heck yeah. Because I don't remember what we got paid for them, but it was like, was it $250 or $350 for pencils and inks or something for just a little tiny, you know? But we would draw them bigger so we could sell the original art for more. At least I did. You know, I think this is a wonderful drawing, actually, the more I look at it.
Are you chumming the waters for compliments there, Aaron?
No, I'm defending myself. I'm saying regardless of what the chat says, this is high quality, baby. I did get kind of a rounded face, though. I did get that right, sort of. So I did pay attention to that detail.
What are you using as a straight edge?
Whatever I can
color
find.
wheel? What have you got lying around?
This is it's a cardboard pouch that my color wheel came in. So you got all your.
You don't have a proper straight edge. You're using a piece of cardboard that you have near your table.
Yes. Well, there's a ruler right here. I guess I forgot about that, but no,
you're just like, bragging about your roll-out drawers and your easy art supply access, and you're using a chunk of cardboard.
Like it. When I told this story before, I had conversations with Kevin Nolan as well as Mike Plug, and they both told me the same thing. When I asked them, well, what did you use on this? They said, whatever was within reach. And so I live by that now. Why get up when I can use that cardboard thing right there? When I'm doing pages, I use a ruler, all right? But if I'm doing a sketch, it's like whatever's handy. It's a little wobbly. Who cares?
I'm trying to get David to get one of these straight edges.
Yeah.
They're transparent and they have the guidelines.
Those are seamstresses use those. Right? That's a sewing one, right?
Inking David, the lines tend to go. Like his panel,
especially with my borders.
Yeah, panel borders were like first this one, the next one's like this, the next one's like that. And so when I put this down, I can see that they're cattywampus. And David, when I complain, that's the reaction I get, that evil laugh.
Didn't you used to, when you were inking Paul Gulacy, didn't you used to piss him off because you'd straighten his eyes out?
Paul had a knack for odd proportions, especially in faces.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned early on in my inking career, that's part of an inker's responsibilities is to adjust things like that, any kind of, So I mentioned this to Paul. No. I corrected. Okay, I'm using the wrong term. I adjusted one of his eyes, and he called me on it. And I told him that it wasn't. It was off kilter. It wasn't proportional.
Mm-hmm.
And his response was, well, just ink it the way it is because that's part of my charm.
What he really said is that I like cockeyed bitches.
I forgot you were there and you heard the conversation. I'm gonna leave that part out.
Yeah.
So he didn't want any adjustments because his yeah.
I remember, what were you inking? Was that Conan graphic novel? What were you inking?
Yes.
And I remember I was over there, and you had pulled out tracing paper because you would go out and you would trace his eye, then you would
trace the eye, and so when I redrew it, it was the same eye.
Right, but you just move it up so it was even with the other eye because they were way off most of the time.
Yeah.
And then that's when you told me, oh yeah, you got ticked off at me for
you didn't like it,
messing with my.
He said, I got the best living I ever got from a cockeyed one. That's why he wants to have a ball like that.
And it's so funny when I do that, even on a sketch, if the eyes are uneven, a lot of times don't notice it until after you're done inking it, and you're like, ugh. Drives me nuts. But apparently not Gulacy. Is he still in Portland? Do you know?
I think so.
Oh, can we edit this video? I didn't mean to insult Mr. Gulacy.
I think he's still around in the Portland area.
We used to have a lot of guys. Like Val Merrick was here, but he moved to Texas. And
I didn't know he was here.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. I need to catch up on the chat status saying Aaron has to be on cloud 9 right now. Everyone on the panel and in the chat remembers who he is, and nobody is mad at him yet that I know of.
Oh, that's true. Well, it's hard to forget somebody when you're on stream with them, right? I mean, give him a few days, and Gary's like, who's that guy that was doing Baloo instead of the bear from... No, it's amazing how many people have forgotten me over the years. It's really insulting, but you kind of take it in stride.
I don't think people just forget. Let's see. Vic is saying, Aaron, I bet you anything if you do a One Piece episode, you will get more views on it than you ever have, as long as it's titled right. You can do a series on it.
One Piece.
I don't know what that means. One Piece.
I don't either. See, once again, Vic is very mysterious. He puts stuff in there, and you have to kind of decode it. And I'm not sure what that means. It may be referencing something he said earlier that you missed. See,
okay, Paul Taylor is saying that's because he hasn't brought up pineapple on pizza, which I like for some reason. Strange reason people don't like this.
I don't know why there's
like when you bring up food, the chat just lights up. It's like they're just waiting to debate food choices.
Well, I don't know why everybody has this problem with pineapple on pizza. Like to me, it's just the ultimate combination of sweet and savory, and it makes perfect sense. And I don't get this.
Well, because some are pizza purists, and they just don't. They want it to be as New York Italian as possible, and pineapple isn't.
Well, that's true, but
that's a California thing.
Well, it is called Hawaiian pizza, not California pizza. So
I know, but Hawaiians didn't do it. It was a California thing.
Yeah, I get it.
Evil One's recommending, Aaron, that you get out of Oregon before that state burns down completely.
I'm all for it, man, but I'm waiting for my my kids to get completely settled, so we know kind of where they're going to be at, especially if we have grandkids coming or something that we don't right now, but we assume we're going to at some point. And so we're trying to.
Yeah, I'm just across the river from Portland in Washington State, so I'm close enough to see it burn.
Are you? So you're like the Vancouver area or someplace like over there?
Yeah.
How long have you been over there?
I can smell it.
Several years.
Oh. No.
It's close enough to where I know what's going on, but far enough that I am
and affected by it. Well, that's kind of where I'm at too. Is like we're in the suburbs, so we don't really. And the only time I drive through Portland anymore is I kind of go around it to go to the airport, and occasionally go to OMSI to see a laser light show. But, I don't know. I think this is a pretty good bear. I think I'm getting a bum rap.
One Piece is going back, straightening us out. He says, Vic is talking about One Piece is a very popular anime show right now. Amazing designs.
Yeah. Oh, One Piece is an anime show. Okay. Well, then
he wants to see you guys do it. And then people are still talking about Hawaiian pizza. Let's see. Washington isn't much better with our governor. Oh, Dale, I agree.
Well, see, I'm not a big fan of some people put barbecue chicken on their pizza and things like that.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm not big on that. It's like if I want barbecue chicken, I'll just have barbecue chicken. Why do I need to put it on pizza?
Yeah.
And the fact that
that's the whole revolution. Everybody's putting everything that, it's like, let's do Peking duck on a pizza.
Yep.
I had shrimp
sushi
once.
Pizza.
It was not. I didn't like it very well. Yeah. It sounded like a good idea, but then I had it and I was kind of like,
yeah. Oh, Nibotes is saying that he's in Spokane. He wishes he could bail to Idaho. Apparently, Idaho is voting.
One of Gary's old workers.
they're voting to have some of the Oregon counties secede, but I don't think Oregon is going to go for that.
Well, why would they? They're going to lose. So that's the thing. This whole secession thing, it can never work because you'd only have to you only pull it off by force,
right?
Because they're never going to vote it.
The government
they're going to vote out taxpayers.
The government is controlled by a certain party, and so yeah, that would never happen. It's a good idea, but never happen.
Nope.
Let's see. People are still talking about pizza.
I'm telling you,
Let's not get into the anchovy debate, please.
Yeah, I never really got that either. Fish on pizza, and I know it's just kind of adds kind of a saltiness to it, but boy, I don't know about that. How much time we got? Ooh, geez, I don't have enough time to color her hair. Maybe I have just enough time to color her hair.
Just do the hair, yeah.
We only got about 5 minutes. I was going to paint it, but I think if I marker it, I can actually get it done. I'll use my pink tip eraser to clean her hair out a little bit here.
Stop saying pink tip.
I never said that until that. That's the first time I said that. That came from the chat.
I'm not just saying to everyone. Just say pink, please.
It's not there. I don't like red. I like a kind of an orange red, or as it says here on my Copic marker, a Chinese orange.
Okay.
That's racist.
Hey, talk to Copic about it, man. I didn't name it.
Because it came from China.
China. Can you imagine how long it took him to animate her hair for this movie?
No.
I mean, that's just crazy. And how would you like to be the guy? Hey, you get to animate the hair for her in this movie. You're like, great.
And that's all you would do for.
That's all you do is like the hair. Yeah. I had a instructor. I was at Portland State, took some animation classes there, and Stan Green was his name, and he was a Disney animator. He worked on like the ones that came out in the 50s and the 60s. Like I think he worked on Sleeping Beauty, and he said everybody always wanted to draw the animals, but he always got stuck drawing the people because he was really good at it. But he always wanted to draw like the animals and the dragons and those kind of things. He never got to because he was too good at drawing people.
This is for Repairman Jack. He says he's kind of looking at it. Cover up my face. I'm give you guys all a break.
Ooh. So pretty.
I don't think my hair is bad at all. See, now I want to know how much crap I'm going to take, or how long I'm going to take crap for this bear. Probably months at this point.
I don't think it looks like a dog anymore.
It doesn't look like Scooby-Doo anymore. Oh.
Stat is saying, I forgot, as there was a show where the panel did something like Space Ace or Dragon's Lair. I don't think so.
We talked about it, but we did Hanna-Barbera, maybe is what you're thinking of. We did talk about that. That's the Don Bluth game, right? The Dragon's Lair?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Marcus Killigrew was saying your bear is great.
See, Marcus knows he's an artist. He'll defend me. Thank you, Marcus.
Man, you're getting hammered, Aaron.
Well, here we go.
Man.
I can't even look. Oh.
Oh, you'll look.
No, I won't.
Skull Nasher is saying, is there a bear in that picture?
Oh, why'd I even do it? Why'd I even put the bear in there? Just trying to give a little extra, and this is what I get. This is the thanks I get. Oh my gosh. I'll just like put black circles around it and make it a raccoon.
Art of Roy says, give that bear a Pepsi.
Oh, I'll get my revenge somehow, some way. See, now it's not just Gary, now it's you guys in the chat too. I'm going to be plotting my revenge.
You have no access to the cannonballs right now.
Oh. Well, I do, but I try to save those for the Sunday show. Because I get enough crap on the Sunday show that I gotta save some of that ammunition.
Oh, man. Just inside.
See, it's an alien bear, then it can look like anything you like. Why is that girl coming out of that dog's ear?
Bears were Coke. Yeah, someone is it coming out of that dog's ear?
Polar bear, both space age during another game. Okay, let's see. Oh my goodness. All right, that's fine. Yeah, say what you want. It's all right. Are you about wrapped up, David?
Nope.
Well, time's up, pal.
Oh, it is?
It is 3:30.
I'll give you a couple
I guess
more
I'll
minutes.
have to paint. I'll have to paint mine later.
All you have to do is the symbol on his chest, right?
Richie
No, I'm going to do this explosive background.
Richie Dupe thought it was Tony the Tiger. Is that Tony the Tiger orange?
What are you guys?
Yeah.
They're just making stuff up. I don't even know what they're talking about now at this point. Oh my gosh. I made Mowgli a redhead, says Luffy is God. Redheaded trans woman. But Baloo looks sick. So I really pulled off Baloo, but you don't like the red-haired trans woman here, huh? All right. All right, guys. I wish I had more time. I'd color this, but it's going to take me another hour at least to color it. Okay, so if you guys are dishing out this much abuse, you should at least hit the like and subscribe button on the channel to help a brother out. I like to use those Kohl Erase blue pencils too, because they actually do erase the Prismacolor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some of those pencils, blue pencils, don't erase.
Well, they're too waxy, but these are not. And
Stat is leaving us saying both pages look great. You can't choose.
There, see, Stat's a nice guy.
See you later. God bless.
Peace out.
He doesn't want me to end the show sad. He's concerned about my feelings, and I think that's important. You other guys, though.
You other motherfucker.
I didn't say that.
I'm your id. Your id was just talking, so this is like a.
On that note, I will not read Justin Side's comment. I will not read it.
For my Cheetos commercial. Oh,
Yeah.
these guys.
Yeah. That is Cheetos orange now that I look at it.
Well, it's more like flaming hot Cheetos, which are actually really good. Those really spicy ones.
Yeah, I like those. But my blood pressure can't take it.
Oh my gosh. You know, if you just look at the food that we eat on a regular basis, there's no wonder this society is just like unhealthy and obese.
Right.
It's like all we eat is crap, but it's so good. Why can't they make healthy food good?
Aaron, who's we?
Yeah, exactly. You turned into Little Rascals. What do you mean, we?
No, I mean, you know, just American society.
As a society, yeah, okay. Now I'm going to go clean out my cupboard.
It's like they say that Doritos are like one of the worst things you can eat. But
love Doritos.
They're so good. Oh, and I'm getting to an age, man, that, you know, it's like, as Dale Keown famously said when I had him on the show the one time, he goes, man, we're getting to an age where everybody's dying, you know? And I'm like, but he was like totally serious. And it's like, yeah, we are. And it's like, so now you start thinking about that stuff you're eating. You're like, did I just take a year off my life by eating this bag of Doritos?
Yeah, see, I have a completely opposite reaction. It's like, as I'm getting older, I'm like, well, might
start going for it.
Yeah.
Gary's all doing heroin and crack. He's like, hey, I earned this.
The clock is ticking. I better start enjoying myself.
All right.
Well, no, I mean, it's, you get to, if once I think, like my mom, for example, is 91, right? And she's like, oh, I shouldn't eat this. I'm like, Mom, you're 91. Eat whatever the heck you want. You know, but I'm, you know, still like
a 91-year-old mama. We see how you are, Aaron.
Hey, she's going to be back. Oh, I want to make an announcement too. If you guys ordered shirts from the campaign, they are done and they're on their way to me, which means I think next week I'll start shipping them out. So that'll be cool. So that's the Wraith of God shirts, the Garbage Man shirts, and the Dale Keown werewolf shirts. So
sweet.
I'm getting a compliment from Santiago. He says that he loved the Conan Skull of Set graphic novel. That was a long time ago.
Didn't Steve Mattson color that?
Yep.
I remember him working. He brought some of those pages. He was working on. That's back in the day when they would do like overlays.
Yeah.
So he had transparent overlays of the line work, and then you'd color on the boards underneath, and the overlay would lay over the top of it.
It was like coloring on blue line. Yeah.
Yeah.
And David Jackson, our other roommate, lettered it. So it was.
It was a Northwest.
David Jackson, Steve Mattson, and myself shared a studio.
Oh wow! I remember you inking that like it was yesterday.
The good old days, man. I never used to be a huge Conan fan, but man, I've become one. I love working on that stuff now. I think we were also obsessed with superheroes, and you know, the way to get noticed was to work on superhero books. And now it's just like, what do I want to draw? What's the most fun to draw?
Well, I think, you know, it's probably true for you guys. We like working on characters that we were fans of.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, so like the first time I worked on Captain America, it was a huge thrill, or Batman, or, you know, whoever.
Yeah.
The Aunt May stories, not so much, but.
I did a few of those.
I mean, I loved the Lone Ranger and always wanted to do that, and never got the opportunity. But doing Bass Reeves was the closest to it. And, you know, I always wanted to do a Tarzan, so who knows? I might do a Tarzan for myself or just put it out there for free or whatever.
There was, I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but there was, Dark Horse did, this was probably in the 90s. Simonson wrote it, and Lee Weeks drew it. It was Tarzan, oh, geez, it just left my mind. Not Tarzan Predator. It was Tarzan, what was that book now? It was so good. Lee Weeks drew it. Simonson wrote it. Oh, that's annoying as heck. I don't think it was Tarzan Predator. Now I got to go look it up.
Paul Taylor is saying the Gold Key Tarzan stories were great. He enjoyed a bunch of the DC Tarzan comics too. Was it the DC comics? Was that mostly Kubert?
Oh, the Tarzan stuff? Yeah.
Yes,
Did like
yes,
Borak, Son of Tarzan.
Mm-hmm.
Simonson, Weeks.
The Buscema Marvel Tarzan was pretty awesome because he inked a lot of those himself.
Mm-hmm.
Did he do that whole series or just the first couple issues? You're talking about the Marvel series, right?
Yes. I don't know how many he did. He did a lot of them. Chat, help us out.
Oh, you know what it was? It was Tarzan Predator, but it was at the Earth's core.
Okay, yeah.
And that was Simonson and Lee Weeks.
Antonio is saying that Lee Weeks did a Magnus Robot Fighter versus Predator. Did not hear.
Oh, really?
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Sal Buscema, according to Marcus, did a few Tarzan issues.
Well, I know Buscema did the first issue, right? Because I remember he did the covers, but he did that a lot though in the 70s. He'd do the first couple issues of something and then move on.
He
to
did
something
quite
else.
a few of the interiors in the Tarzan stuff.
All right, so David, are you wrapped up for today?
Yeah, for today. Yeah.
All right. We'll take a look at my my bear and my trans woman, and first.
She's not trans at all. She looks good.
No. But it's an older version of her, obviously. She doesn't look like a little kid, but that's all right.
Yeah.
There's
my blue bear.
I actually like that bear.
Yeah,
I like he looks high.
I was going to say.
Well, that's your mom, so it's a her. But
I was going to say I like his attitude, but now that what David has been more specific, I don't know.
This, of course, is a combination of the David Williams Zig pen and some microns. So that's what I used on this. I am going to color this though, and
excellent.
I'll show it next week fully colored, but you guys get the idea. There we go. So that's my dog saying hello. There's her face up close. Bow and arrow action. So anyway,
Wow.
I think for
rendering on the cape, I'm impressed.
What's that?
I said you even did rendering on the cape.
Hey, when you go, when you try and draw from Jungle Book, you got to bring it. So. All right, let's take a look and see what David brings to the table.
Yeah,
this is the younger version.
Yeah, the more fit version.
I wish you'd done a comic of that The Incredibles. That would have been great.
That would have been amazing. Yeah.
Yep.
So I use the same thing too. So I use my Zig pen and my microns. So I was watching you and said, "Oh yeah,
I can do that, and I can do it better than you."
No, I'm just keeping up with the Joneses.
Dan Genovese wants to know why I didn't race swap the character because she's a redhead.
Should have gave her an afro, like a big red afro.
Oh my goodness. Looks great, David, says Citizen Ronan. Citizen Ronan turned in a pretty impressive piece to the Wraith of God art contest, I have to admit. He kind of did a Doc Savage paperback riff on his artwork. It was impressive. So we got a lot of good pieces in that art contest. It's going to be hard to make a decision, that's for sure. Dan Genovese, the pizza man, says, that's awesome, David. And then Son of Liberty Radio, he's sticking it to you. So David did that Liefeld style, no foot. Paul Taylor says he refrained from mentioning that Ginger side continues in Hollywood. Yeah, they're getting rid of all the redheads.
Frazetta, hey, wait a minute. Frazetta invented the no foot.
That's for sure.
That's a compliment.
That's right. I'll take that.
Yeah, Liefeld perfected it, but well, Frazetta was so great at like why paint stuff that you shouldn't be looking at anyway, you know?
And Mike Mignola does it too.
Yeah.
I used to do that with ears. Like
inking, really?
Inking ears. I would just kind of do an impression of the ear. It's like, who looks at ears? And Steve Root yelled at me for doing that. It's like perfected ears over the ears. I don't want you, doing shortcuts.
Now, wait a minute. Evil One says that if it weren't for the light box David was using, Aaron would have won. This is not a competition, guys. It's just a couple of, it's a studio hangout, right? And we push each other to draw our best. But if you'd like to say that you think mine is the best, that's fine.
Well, why is a tool dividing the tool has nothing to do with it. It's about what I put on the paper. I actually did twice as many drawings as Aaron, so I should win just because of that.
Yeah, you've got more than one.
All right, hang on a second. There's no winning here. This is not a competition.
I'm saying if it was.
If it was a competition.
If it was a competition.
Are you gonna color this, David?
Maybe.
You don't have to because it works as a black and white. I've already committed.
No, you just want to win because you're going to color it.
Well, I have to. I already committed to coloring her hair, so I have to.
That's why I said maybe. I might change my mind and just, what agile,
Okay. Paul Taylor says you're doing pretty well if you're getting favorably compared to Frazetta. So that's true. There you go. Paul Taylor, it's the skill of the person using the tool. That's right. Evil One says David won my heart. So there you go. All right. Somebody ticked off my dog, but that's all right.
Candy and flowers are going to follow.
Okay, so there we have it. Let me do a quick reminder to everybody. We have almost 100 people watching right now. Please shut that dog up. Please hit the like and subscribe. I got to shut the door. Sorry.
That sounded like somebody else.
Yeah.
Boy, that didn't help. Okay, so hit the like and hit the like and subscribe button. Okay.
I can't find the subscribe button.
Oh my gosh, where's the subscribe button at? Hit the like and subscribe if you would. We appreciate you guys joining us here to make this channel possible. And I want to remind everybody that David Williams is pimping my Wraith of God. I appreciate that very much. But David, of course, has his campaign, Bass Reeves, West of Hell. It is done. So it'll be shipping, I'm sure, quite soon. So you guys, if you haven't backed it, please go take a look at that. The link is in the description of this video. I have my Wraith of God Blood Hunters campaign, which is rocking and rolling. And if you have not backed that, please take a trip over there and check it out. See if it's something you might get behind. You'll find the link in the description of this video as well. Also want to let everybody know I finished coloring last night the Wraith of God graphic novel second printing cover. So that campaign is going to be launching very, very soon. I'm not doing a sign-up sheet because I'm going to try and avoid the early shadow ban. But I will be keeping you guys posted. So you'll have a week's notice. And I'll remind you, multiple times every day until it goes live, so that no one will be taken by surprise by that. And Gary, you want to give us your information again on how people can get a hold of you for to do commissions?
I just started a Twitter. Yeah, it's at G Martin Inc. Pretty easy to remember. G Martin Inc.
And do you remember your Instagram? You said it earlier.
Martin Inc. Art.
Martin Inc. Art. So that's at Martin Inc. Art, right?
I don't know. I can't remember what Instagram does.
Okay. So anyway, guys, write that down. If you want to get a commission, like, will you show those two pieces real quick again?
Let me show my work in progress.
Yeah. Move it up. There you go. So there's nice Marilyn Monroe.
Her hair to do, and black on top, and cross hatching down here.
Go even closer.
Is that going to stay in focus? Because I'd like to see that.
There you go.
Yeah. Look at that cross hatching. That's just crazy,
Closer.
man.
Go closer on that mouth. Oh, there you go. Man, gee, that is awesome.
Look at the cross hatching in there to get that gray. Gary also does tremendous recreations of maybe your favorite covers or different things like that. Would you show the Captain America Wolverine one again? So yes, if you want a piece that looks, I mean, that looks exactly like the Zach Beatty cover, and if you want a recreation of something like that, he can hook you up.
Maybe next week. I don't want the opinions now, but I was thinking about recreating this one.
Oh,
yeah,
baby.
There you go.
Ross Andrew, Dick Giordano, Terry Austin.
And a little bit of Neil Adams in there on that face of Superman too.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's Neil.
Dick Giordano was, pretty good at that.
Yeah, Neil went in and redrew almost all the Superman faces though in that book. So I'm going to guess he did it on the cover too. But it's one of those great mystery jam books of all time, because a lot of people did a little bit of work here and there, and they weren't all credited, but came out great. That'd be awesome to do that, man. That city though.
Ross Andrew pencils, Dick Giordano inks, and Terry Austin inked all the backgrounds. Man, if you have that book, if you look in the,
you weren't. That was before you were assisting him, right? Was that before you were assisting Terry?
No, I never assisted Terry. But I
what?
No. But
what was your relationship with Austin?
He sponsored me into New York. He brought me into the Marvel DC offices and to Neil Adams' studio and showed me around, and he gave me critiques and that kind of thing.
But you never worked with him. Wow. I thought you did.
But I used him, David and I were talking about that book, that Superman, Spider-Man book. Dick Giordano called it the Bible of background inking.
Mm-hmm.
And so I referred to it heavily in my early days. And so was greatly influenced by Terry Austin. Even though you look at my work, you don't see it, but he was a huge influence.
Marcus Killigrew, who knows everything about comics, said John Romita touched up a lot of the Peter Parker faces. Of course, Ross Andrew was interesting, was the artist on that book, and didn't mean to go off on this tangent, but he is a guy who drew Superman, and he also was the regular Spider-Man artist at the time, so he seemed like the logical choice. But then it's just like it seems like everybody went in over the top of him and messed around with his art. But the final product's fantastic. I mean, it really is. It just looks amazing. So I think you should recreate that, man. That would be really cool. Love to see that. So it says Dad's Den of Pop Culture says Gary often impersonated him on the telephone, though. Of course, he's talking about Terry Austin. Evil One says, I would post Gary's Instagram, but I can't find it.
Martin Inc.
G Martin Inc.
Yep.
That's your Twitter, though, isn't it?
Oh, Instagram is.
See?
Uh-huh.
Gary's giving us misinformation.
Martin Inc. Art.
Martin Inc. Art.
Yeah.
Martin Inc.
We can save this for next week.
Gary will get his crap together. And
I'll get my stuff together for next week. I appreciate you guys having my back.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for this week's episode of Graybeard's Studio. Next week, who knows? It's probably going to be something more fantasy oriented so that I have a better chance of making David look silly as opposed to him making me look silly doing animated stuff. So we shall see. We shall see what happens. But again, the choice is yours. I post those polls on my Twitter page on Monday and also on my Facebook page on Monday, so everybody can get their 2 cents worth in. And hopefully someday, if we keep dreaming and we wish hard enough, Kelsey will return. So anyway, thank you guys for supporting the channel and being here. It's great fun as always. And we will check me out Sunday at 4 o'clock Pacific time on Aaron Live with Shelley. And Mark Polton will be joining us to talk about his new project, Coney Waves. And so until then, we will see you guys next time. Thank you.